Good evening. I'd like to bring the Board of Trustee meeting. Today is August the 25th. The time is 6:03. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for the parents, the teachers, the administration, our community for being here tonight. We're starting a new school year, and we thank you for taking the time off your schedule to be here with us this evening. Thank you. Go ahead, Adrian.
Item 1B, roll call. Mrs. Barnes?
Present.
Ms. Borrego?
Present.
Ms. Maldonado?
Present.
Mr. Martinez?
Present.
Mrs. Ortega?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez? Present. Mrs. Zúñiga?
Here.
Item 1C, Pledge of Allegiance.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
Item 1E, CISD Vision and Mission Statements.
Mr. Rodriguez, would you lead us in the mission? Ms. Maldonado, would you lead us in the vision, please?
Mr. President, and the mission, we provide equitable opportunities to ensure our future-ready students are empowered to explore, learn, grow, and excel.
Vision, lead today, impact tomorrow.
Thank you.
Item number 2, item Board Honors. Item 2A, Presenter Gustavo Reveles.
Board President Martinez, members of the board, and Dr. Borrego, please join us in front of the dais as we begin this month's presentation. Canutillo ISD continues to be a leader in the thoughtful and meaningful student engagement. 5 years ago, this district became the first in the state to seek and receive permission to establish a role of student advisor to the Board of Trustees. Since then, 2 students, one from Canutillo High School and one from Northwest Early College High School, have been selected to represent the more than 5,500 students who call CISD home by sitting alongside trustees at the dais. There, they participate in discussions, provide input, review information, and help our elected board members approach every decision with one guiding principle: the best interest of our students. Tonight, we continue that tradition by swearing in the 2026-2027 CISD Board of Trustees Student Advisors. Both campuses have selected proven student leaders who are already well-versed in the role and ready to tackle the issues facing our district. Canutillo High School has selected senior Mia Valle, a legacy Eagle whose father is a CHS graduate. Over the past 4 years, Mia has developed her leadership skills through student government while also helping others find their inner Eagle pride as a member of the cheerleading squad. She also is a member of HOSA, the National Honor Society, DECA, and the Texas Association of Future Educators. She hopes to continue her academic journey in college with the goal of becoming a nurse practitioner. Northwest Early College High School has selected senior Inez Andrade to represent the school. A high-achieving student with a strong focus on academics, Inez is already earning scholarship offers just 1 month into the school year. She is involved in IQ, NHS, BPA, and the Spanish Club. This college-bound senior hopes to study urban planning and help cities develop more sustainable practices. Mia and Inez, please come forward to begin the swearing-in ceremony. The swearing-in will be conducted by Board President Martinez.
State your name. Do you solemnly swear to affirm that I will faithfully serve and student advisor of the Canutillo Independent School District Board of Trustees? I pledge to serve with pride, integrity, and commitment as the voice for the students of Canutillo. I will listen and consider the sentiments, ideas, and concerns of my fellow students. And I will bring their perspectives to the board attention during its deliberation. I will speak clearly, confident, and passionately on behalf of the student body, ensuring their needs and aspirations are presented and discussed, and decisions that will shape our school, our education, and our student experience. I'm carrying out these responsibilities, and I will strive to promote respect, understanding, and collaboration between students and the district leadership, upholding the values and missions of Canutillo ISD. Congratulations. Yeah. You're next. State your name. Do you solemnly swear to affirm that I will faithfully serve as student advisor to the Canutillo Independent School District Board of Trustees?
Yes.
I pledge to serve with pride, integrity, and commitment as the voice of all students of Canutillo.
Yes.
I will listen to and consider the sentiment, ideas, concerns of my fellow students, and I will bring their perspectives to the board's attention during the deliberation.
Yes.
I will speak clearly, confidentially, and passionately on behalf of the student body, ensuring their needs and aspirations are represented in discussion and decisions that shape our school, our education, and our student experience. In carrying out these responsibilities, I will strive to promote respect, understanding, and collaboration between students and district leadership, upholding the values and missions of Canutillo ISD. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good work.
And now we're going to take the first official photo of the entire Board of Trustees. If we could also have mom, dad, parents come up, please, and brothers, sisters, all families, and principals as well, please. Mia and Inez will now spend the entire school year tackling different issues impacting the school board, the school district, and working closely with other students to make sure their voices are represented. Board President Martinez, members of the board, and Dr. Borrego, this concludes this month's presentation. Student advisors Valle and Andrade, please take your seats at the dais.
Go ahead, Adrian.
Item number 3, open forum. Any person wishing to address the board during the period reserved for public comment at a board meeting must sign up to be heard in accordance with District Policy BED Local. Each participant will be limited to 3 minutes to make comments to the board. The board is not permitted to discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on the agendas for tonight's meeting. For further information on these policies, contact the superintendent's administrative assistant. And Board President, we have one member of the community who signed up for today. That's Dr. Pedro Galaviz regarding board administration.
Here we go. Good evening, board, president, trustees, superintendent, and more importantly, the Canutillo community. My name is Pedro Galaviz. I spent 31 years in public education, 13 serving as superintendent of my beloved Canutillo. Tonight, I want to speak about one word. It's called governance. You are the elected governing body of Canutillo ISD. The community elected you to govern this district, not manage. You hire and evaluate the superintendent, you establish expectations, you approve the budget, and you monitor results. But with that authority comes accountability. And right now, the results that you're getting deserve attention. Academically, we went from an A to a B, and now we're a C. Financially, the first report, we went from an A to a B, now a C. That is not one isolated number. That is a trend, what we call in data. Those are governance outcomes. That's on you. When results move in the wrong direction, the answer isn't for trustees to become more involved in the day-to-day operations, point fingers at administration or staff. The answer is stronger governance. Strong boards establish clear expectations, monitor measurable outcomes, hold the superintendent accountable, and then let the superintendent go. Let him manage. Let him lead. Or she. Because when trustees step into management, they step away from governance. And in my work on organizational performance health, one condition is especially important: adult accountability. And accountability doesn't begin in the classroom. It doesn't begin with our principals. It doesn't even begin with the superintendent. It begins here with the governing body. It begins with you. Teachers must teach, principals must lead, superintendent must manage, and trustees must govern. So with the C in both academics and financing, I leave you with one question. What have you been governing? What have you been focused on? You were elected to govern. The community should and will hold you accountable for doing it. If Canutillo is going to move from stuck to strong, accountability starts with you. It starts here. Thank you.
Mr. President, that concludes open forum for tonight. That leads to item number 4, special presentation. Item 4A, quarterly update from Presidio, presenter Ernesto Ortiz and the Presidio team.
Through the chair,
Yes, Ms. Maldonado.
since this is such a lengthy agenda, I was wondering if it would be okay to table some items for next month in September, some of the presentations, that are not time-sensitive. One being, I'm sorry, Ernie, the presentation from Presidio. The other one being I don't know about the insurance, because I know open enrollment is on October, but possibly that one. And the presentation from Chief Martinez on the reserve program. And I believe he had another one on the mapping. If that's okay with the rest of the board, to maybe table it till September.
I would recommend, I don't know why we have so many, this is the first time we've had so many items on consent agenda. I mean, not on consent agenda, there are actually items. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I think 15, 16 presentations. And so my question is, which items can wait, if that's the question? If we're going to wait, then we should probably wait on all those items unless they're actually needed,
Time sensitive.
time sensitive.
Can I ask you, is there a motion on the table? Anybody would like to make a motion to move forward? And we'll see how that would fly. Dr.
Can I make a
Borrego,
comment before we do a motion, please?
Sure, go ahead.
Just a question. When I was an officer, we used to meet on the agenda and go over it, or is that not happening?
Yes,
Are
yes,
we doing it?
It is happening. It is happening.
So you put all these
But for
things on the
whatever
agenda?
reason, this agenda is longer than what we discussed. For whatever reason,
But if Mr. Mondo here is saying that a lot of them could have been on consent agenda, were they not discussed? Was that not something, I guess I want more clarity on that.
Dr. Borrego, do you want to clarify that, please?
I'd rather just move them to consent.
I
Sure,
can
so
a-
we did meet in July, so obviously, the timelines for things that need to be renewed, some of the presentations are timely. And so really, it's just a method for us to catch up and, do the presentations that need to be done at the beginning of the year. But if the board decides that they want to move some to next month, it's at the board's purview.
Could we look at some of the agenda items and move them to consent? Or is that, you
Well-
want to hear all of them or all the presentations?
My intention is not to move them to consent.
Okay.
I think B,
My intention is, yes, I would like to hear the presentations, but like Mr. Rodriguez mentioned, it's 3 pages long. And
Oh, I
we
know, I
that
took
the
a nap.
presentations take forever.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it was reviewed, but the agenda was already provided to us.
I would.
So I have a question for Mr. Blanco. Do we have to be specific on which agenda items we want to possibly postpone that are not time-sensitive?
If I can add to that, Steve, I think I just looked at it. Items B through L could have been on consent agenda. Can we just move those or just make a motion to approve those?
Hold on, 1 second, sorry, Steve Blanco, Legal Counsel for the district, President Martinez, Dr. Borrego, members of the board. So, couple of things. 1, 5A, it's my understanding from talking to the administration before the meeting started that the request for proposal and the award on the medical pharmacy benefit management plan is going to be pulled. That will come to you in
That's correct.
September. So just as we go through this, that one's off the list. The next set of items, the first one that was mentioned was the presentation by Mr. Ortiz and Presidio. I don't know, that's up to you all. If you want to move that to September, you can. And then there was an item mentioned about the reserve program. I don't know enough about whether that has any timing commitments to it to say whether you can wait till September. Can you move it to September?
In my opinion, I think if we move the insurance to a special meeting in September, it's going to be time-consuming. We're going to spend quite a bit of time just discussing the possible options that the administration is bringing before us. I think will be something to consider. As for the Presidio, I know your presentation is also very intense. But once again, if there's a motion to move forward, as far as the consent agenda,
Mr. Chair,
yes, ma'am.
I feel like, yes, it is a packed meeting, but I do think a lot of these things, for example, like you talked about moving Shack has to be presented every single year. So this is so we could move it, but we can't, it can't go to consent. So there are some things I'm sure that are time sensitive. I have no idea. But I think removing insurance is going to help a lot. For the others, we received this information last Thursday. So, I mean, the packet has been here for us to be able to go over, get our questions ready, read over the information. So I don't think that we need to go page by page through every presentation that's given. That's my opinion. I mean, to cut down on time, the presenter could come up and see if we have any questions over the presentation that was given, because we should have already gone over it ourselves before coming tonight.
Through the chair.
Just let them know.
Dr. Borrego, which items are time sensitive?
So I'm going to ask my cabinet to approach the microphone, please. All right, so it looks like Shack, we can move until next month. Is that correct?
Correct.
Dr. Reyes?
We can wait till September for that one, sir. And then my other item is item 5L. That one I have to do tonight.
Okay.
It's tied to funding.
Yes, ma'am.
And that one was B, Dr. Reyes?
5B, we can.
We move to
postpone.
September. Okay,
Yes, but 5L, it has to happen
okay.
tonight.
I'm just
Thank you.
taking notes. We got you. Just want to make sure B.
Steve, can we put items to consent?
No.
Or just approve? Or make a motion to approve them,
Well,
if they need to?
they're up on the discussion
Yeah.
agenda. You can't move them to consent.
Right.
You can move items from consent to be discussed.
No, but we could say approval of item A, B, under not the consent agenda,
No, you have to go through them.
individual? Okay.
Okay. C, discussion possible action to approve change order number 1, providing 84 days.
So that is a time change order. It's not increasing the GMP at all. It's just extending the substantial completion date to October 23rd because we added an additive alternate for the blacktop playground area at Canotillo Elementary School.
So we can
It's a
vote
real
on
quick question, Mr. Ortiz. If we move it till September, does that affect the deadline the deadline of October? It will?
I would have to stop construction on
Yeah,
it if you
Okay,
don't.
thank you.
And I would like to move forward. You're right, construction, if, just to stop the people from not working will hurt us. Correct. I would like to move forward on that.
Steve, isn't this the wrong way to do
Yeah,
it?
so I think the
Where-
way, Dr. Rico is whispering in my ear, the problem you're gonna have now is you're going to start discussing the items. So you need to take them up one at a time, decide whether or not you're going to table and postpone it to September, or you're gonna take it up tonight. So we already know 5A is being tabled and postponed until September. Your next item on the agenda is 5B. So Adrian needs to call that. I'll just do it. Discussion and possible action for approval of the School Health Advisory Council SHAC annual report and presentation. It's my understanding from Dr. Reyes, this can wait. So if somebody would make a motion to pull it and table it to September, we can delay that item.
Mr. Blanco, if you go back to the special presentations, which is Presidio, do we have to also vote on that to postpone it to
We're
September?
gonna go one at a time. We haven't gotten to
Well,
that
that's
yet.
not in 5.
You
jumped-
started in 4.
You started at 5A.
5A. It's because there's a new agenda.
Okay.
You got it?
No, I have 4A, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's go back to 4, I apologize. 4A, the quarterly update from Presidio, are you going to delay that?
I would recommend we don't because it's set up to the quarterly to go to the community and to then the,
I agree. I think that would delay updates to the community.
Discussion, we just have to say yes or
Yes, you
no,
can delay
right?
it or not? You gonna hear it?
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
hear
okay.
it.
Then that's the next item on the agenda, go ahead and take it up.
Item 4, special presentation. Item 4A, quarterly update from Presidio. Presenter Ernesto Ortiz from Presidio Group.
Good evening, Board President Martinez, Dr. Borrego, members of the board, and Student Advisory Council. My name is Mr. Ortiz, Ernesto Ortiz with Presidio. I'm going to provide you a second quarter update. We're on year 2. We've just completed year 2 of the 2024 bond program. So you can see from the map, this bond program touches every school, every community in your district. And slide 2, I'm going to try to go through this pretty quickly. Since our last quarterly updates, these are some of the things that have happened that have made significant progress over the overall bond program. On the renovation side, we've shifted a lot of the focus now to commissioning of mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems as we go through the punch list items, conduct inspections, and begin to close out the renovation items. On our new construction projects, we're seeing significant progress with site work, foundations, stem walls, structural systems, the infrastructure for the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, as well as building dry-in. We've continued a heavy focus on community engagement efforts throughout our virtual community meetings, CBAC meetings with our Citizens Bond Accountability Committee, of course, the board site tour that some of you were able to take advantage of, and most recently, the Reyes ribbon cutting. And if we want to go through that, you see the ribbons community, that I think is slide 3, Adrian. These pictures really represent what the bond program is ultimately about, moving from construction into instruction. And the reopening and completion of these spaces allow both teachers and students to really experience the investment that this community has made through the bond program. Now, we can talk about budgets all night, we can talk about schedules and construction percentages, et cetera, but these are moments that allow us just to see the direct impact that students get from your investment into them. That next slide, we'll just see the interactive boards in action. Of course, at Reyes, we had a Wi-Fi build-up that supports not only the safety and security of the campus, but instruction. And you see the new instructional taking place. It's a great example of how you had a facility committee in the very inception of this bond program that had hopes and dreams. You had administration and board members that desired for something to have an impact on students, and here it is. I mean, here it is right here. You can see these students directly impacted from through instruction. We got to do a board site tour that many of you were part of. Really appreciated that opportunity to take you out and let the construction teams kind of lead you through the scale of work, particularly on the new construction projects, and to speak directly to you. In fact, we have Mr. De La Rosa here tonight who's going to speak specifically to his project. The next slide will show you the overall program budget. It remains in a very strong position. Presidio is managing approximately $379.3 million across the program. In addition, you all have realized approximately $5.86 million in interest. That brings the total program resources to approximately $385.2 million. To date, we have $230.6 million encumbered, and approximately $128.5 million has been paid out to our architects, construction, as well as supporting professional services. If you look at the budget, the next slide is the budget by project. It provides the same financial picture as the overall. You can see the progression, right, from our renovation projects, which are way further along than our new construction. We're making significant portions of the budget in the new construction are encumbered in construction, but also are not encumbered because we still have to procure the furniture, fixtures, and equipment. If you go to the next one, the program schedule, that's a high-level view of the overall schedule. So our renovation projects began construction primarily during the summer of 2025, if you remember, and the new construction projects moved into construction between September of 25 and early 26. Reyes has reached completion. We've closed that one out. Canutillo Elementary is nearing the end of its construction effort. It's closed out with the exception of the item that's on for your approval to extend the timeline for the new blacktop area. The remaining renovation projects are continuing to progress towards completion, and they are going to finish way before our contractual substantial completion dates. It just illustrates why schedule management remains like our primary focus. We're very focused on making sure each project stays on time or finishes before. If you look at page 9, of course, that's the district security upgrades, and I'm happy to announce that you all have invested approximately $2.1 million in district-wide security upgrades. Every campus has been touched with new cameras, the cameras that identified blind spots, access control, WebEx emergency communication capability, secure vestibules, and related technology improvements. Altogether, each one of your schools is safe and secure, and you can bet your bottom dollar on that. We've made a lot of progress on that. We've also incorporated work at the existing schools to make sure that they are meet TEA compliance. Now, at the high school specifically, it's a total budget. If the next slide, I'm sorry, Adrian. The next slide, I'm trying to go through this rather quickly. A total budget of about $16.3 million. This really included major HVAC improvements, major roofing improvements, safety and security, CTE upgrades. We upgraded the wireless infrastructure and athletic lighting improvements, which was, of course, one of our very first projects. During this quarter, over the summer, we did not have students in class, and so the crews were able to complete the demolition of existing heat pumps in several areas. And if you look at that slide, every red dot is a heat pump inside that, just that wing. So if you can imagine, there were 3 wings that had a lot of heat exchangers, heat pumps. TPO roofing has been completed across the designated campus buildings, and we're beginning to do a lot of the test and balancing of the new HVAC systems, as well as commissioning is well underway. You can see some of the progress photos in pages 11 and 12. They give you kind of a visual representation of the work. Improvements inside these CTE spaces, pump replacements, roofing being completed, and the structural work that's necessary to support the rooftop units in some of the areas. Tremendous amount of infrastructure work going on at Canutillo High School, and I'm proud to say that our AO general contractor has done a wonderful job. Garrick is their mechanical subcontractor, wonderful job of making sure that, you know, we did not interrupt instruction throughout the summer. At Canutillo Elementary School, you can see it's nearing the final stages. As a matter of fact, it is all complete with the exception of the new playground area, which we're going to ask you for a time extension for. This will not increase the guaranteed maximum price. We were able to do that through realized buyout savings with our partners at Baines General Contractors. You can see the progress photos in the next one. They show the progress occurring. You can see all the LVT flooring, rooftop mechanical work, of course, gas line installation that is structural that helps the rooftop units in both heating and cooling. A lot of progress. You know, there is a challenge with renovation projects, but we're completing these substantial infrastructure improvements and phasing the work so that we do not interrupt any instruction. And Bill Childress Elementary had a total value of $7.6 million. You can see the new rooftop units being put up. Every one of these schools got brand new rooftop units. So if you walk in there, you can feel the difference. They had a new basketball court that has been completed and turned over, and the kids have began to play on it. And we've also approved the use of contingency funding for LVT flooring in the library. And the library just got new furniture as well. I would encourage you to go take a look at it. We just got pictures tonight. We have a crew out there right now installing that furniture. You see these progress photos that show the flooring preparation and the preservation of the existing campus artwork and murals. We wanted to make sure that the schools keep their identity while going through this much needed change in infrastructure, and it just improved the facilities, but also preserving the elements that are important to the identity of that campus. At Damian Elementary School, you can see the $7.25 million in bond improvement, gas distribution systems, the fire alarm in all these schools, the renovations, the new fire alarms, new PA infrastructure, modifications to some of the masonry walls, and of course, all the HVAC equipment that went in here. Now, it's important to note that they just don't dump these HVAC equipment. They do a test and balance, and we have a commissioning agent that you hired that goes around to make sure that they are working as they were designed to work. You can see some of the progress photos in the next couple of slides. It's a variety of work from door frames to HVAC commissioning. You can see new electrical panels to support that new HVAC, as well as the fire alarm and PA system. At Garcia Elementary, we're managing a $6.3 million in improvements. During this quarter, exterior work associated with the new restroom facilities was completed. Rooftop HVAC units in phase 5 reached startup and are begin commissioning. Construction has been completed on the new secure vestibule, and then new playground shade canopies were installed to keep the kiddos out of the sun during the hot September and May months. Again, we're seeing project transition from major construction activities towards finished spaces and systems. You can see the photos in the next, you can see the physical progress associated with these types of improvements, the new storefront framing, exterior lighting controls, HVAC equipment, just an overall transformation of that school. Reyes, you can see that represents an important milestone for the bond program because it's reached completion. We're closed out on this. Certificate of occupation has been issued. We've done end-user training to district staff to make sure that all systems, including the new whiteboards where the teachers were trained on. You all approved the release of that retainage, and the contractor is completing the remaining closeout documentation. It's just one example of the taking a bond project from the planning stage all the way through the closeout phase. Very happy with that one. With the new construction, you can see the Northwest Early College High School on page 26. That Northwest Early College High School, we've had to do a lot of utility coordination along with El Paso Electric, Texas Gas, and El Paso Water. That remains active. We're tying into existing system or bringing up systems as we need it. Progress is in the field with the footing layout, the backfilling, excavation, underground utilities, and site preparation as they're starting to begin to go vertical on that. The next slide will demonstrate the transition very clearly. You can see how that concrete placement and foundation reinforcing steel is now underway. It's an important milestone because the work that has been occurring underground in site preparation is now beginning to translate into this building up, a physical footprint of the building and what it's going to look like. And I'm sure the early college high school students are really excited about the progress on this one. Canutillo Middle School is one of the largest projects in the bond program with a total project budget of $106.9 million. This is going to be a new 165,000 square foot campus. It's going to include academic and collaboration spaces, cafeteria, library, gymnasium, special education spaces. If you got to do the tour, they kind of demonstrated where all these spaces were going to be. During this quarter, crews continued to backfill the building pads. They did some foundation framework, and they're starting to do the foundation framework on the field and field house and athletic field. And we're beginning to see multiple portions of this campus begin to build up vertically at the same time. You can see the aerial photographs on pages 29 and 30. The structural framework is progressing. Concrete footing is well underway. Underground plumbing and utility infrastructure continue throughout the site. In this stage, several trades are working concurrently with each other, so coordination and schedule management on this project in particular is important as we begin to take shape of this building. At Alderete Middle School, it's another $106.8 million funded job. It's 165,000 square foot, very similar to Alderete in scope. They completed portions of the retaining wall over excavation and soil preparation. As we told you before, Both these sites took a lot of site work with underground utilities. Given the topography of this particular site, the retaining wall and grading work represent a significant component. So now that that effort has been almost complete, you'll see these buildings start to come up pretty quickly. If you look at pages 32 and 33, the Alderete Middle School progress photos, they really demonstrate the magnitude of the work that's going on there at Alderete Middle School. Extensive segmental retaining walls, the building areas beginning to become clearly identifiable in those pictures that you see. So what was previously primarily a mass grading and earthwork is now transitioning into these foundations and vertical construction, and it's just a piece of artwork. I mean, it's really good. I'd like to invite Andrew De La up here. Andrew De La Rosa, I'm sorry, is he here? Can you come up real quickly? He's just going to give you a brief rundown of Davenport Elementary School. Do you have the video? And as he talks through it, he's going to show you a video of the work there.
It'll be hard for me to see from back here. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. Just wanted to take a couple of minutes and just give you a sense of the progress on the project. Again, my name is Andrew De La Rosa, and I'm the project the owner for LDCM Solutions. I've got Juan Lara here with me. He's our vice president, and Tavo with Fluger Architects. I just wanted to share this drone footage with you all. Mind you, this is about a week old. We had our topping out ceremony last Thursday, so this one's a little behind on what the project looks like at this moment. But if we put pause on that one right there, please, if we can. Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of go over with you all, for those of you all that haven't had an opportunity to visit the job site. On the top left wing is going to be our gymnasium kitchen area, and then as we progress to the right, you have the classroom wing, and then up front on the left-hand side we have classroom wings, and then on the right-hand side, on the bottom right-hand side, we have admin area and classroom wings as well. But I wanted to just kind of go over with you all a little bit of what we have going on. On the gymnasium area, just to give you a sense of where we're at, because we had our topping out ceremony and the placing of our final beam for the project, we are now transitioning into the completion of the envelope of the building, as well as transitioning into mechanical systems on the interior. And then actually in the gymnasium and in the kitchen area, we're transitioning into finishes. So in those areas, you'll start seeing tile work, drywall, paint, and then as we transition over to the classroom wing, we've got all the mechanical systems installed, and now we're going to start with the two-side drywall on the interior of the first floor, and then transition up to the second floor. What was I going to say? With that being said, we are on schedule. We are moving forward in a really fast pace. Again, this is a little old. If you see some of the videos on social media, you'll see that final front area is completed. We've got the final beam installed, and we're actually way a little further ahead on the steel on that bottom wing. If you want to go ahead and push play on the rest of the video, please. I just wanted to go over that with y'all so you can get a sense of what the building is where the building is and where we're going with it.
Can you pause it right there, Ernie?
Yeah, pause.
Just so you know, this video shows that we don't have a roof on this wing yet, but all that roof is already in place.
Yeah. This is a week ago.
This is a week. And all this backside, we've got all the sheathing in place, air barrier, and we're fixing to start on the EFIS. So most of the building envelope on the backside has already been completed.
So if you're driving I-10, you can start getting a sense for that backside of the building and the color that it's taking shape.
Yeah, you're going to start seeing colors already on the exterior, especially the EFIS. We've already started in some of the wings. As far as the gymnasium, that's all tilt wall, so that's going to be texture coating that you're going to be seeing here pretty soon. But yeah,
do you want to go ahead and move forward with it?
So this is just a clearest example of how quickly this new construction projects are beginning to take shape, and how you can see already there's roofing installation, all the structural steel is put up, multiple buildings are clear. I mean, you can see the shape of the building. Again, some of you got to go out there and actually walk the site, but from that time to now, there's been significant progress. Thanks, guys.
Can I add a few more
Yeah,
things
go
here?
ahead.
Just real quick, I want to say it's been great collaborating with Ernie's team, Presidio, and with Andrew and LDCM and their team. Being the architect, it's one thing to see renderings and plans, but once you come out here to actually see the building taking shape, it's amazing to see that collaboration with the board and the team during design can come through fruition. So very excited for the district. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. So just in closing, we appreciate the board's continued support on this. You can see that the community is beginning to really see the results of its investment, not only in the active construction sites as you drive around, but in completed classrooms, in technology, security improvements, HVAC improvements, CTE spaces that they are ready to be used. So we, again, appreciate your support, your oversight of the bond program, and we look forward to continuing this momentum in the next quarter. Thank you, sir.
Any questions, comments? Go ahead.
So on the overall budget slide, Mr. Presidio.
Yes.
So it says here that the interest earned to date is $5,857,000 and some change. But I have a report from finance that states that it's over 7 million. Is this up to date, or what's the discrepancy there?
I turned this in a little bit earlier than probably when they gave you their last report. Presidio and its contract, we don't manage the bond interest.
Okay.
We report on it, but don't give you a full report of what's been expended or anything out of it. But yeah, we will update that next quarter.
Okay, perfect. So, Ms. Pulley, the numbers that we got were the more accurate numbers. Okay, thank you. And then looking at the budget per project, so.
I'm sorry, Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
just to clarify, can you give that number to the rest of the board? 7 what?
Yes, it was in our Thursday packet. It's $7,243,194. You're welcome. That's what we have earned to date, but there were some expenses that came out of that. So we have 6.2 basically left. Okay, so on the budget per project, I know Reyes, we did the ribbon cutting, and then Canutillo Elementary is close to being done, and then it looks like after that we have Childress, Damian, and Garcia. So based on that, the amounts that are showing here as unencumbered, are we looking for those numbers to be savings for those projects?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so with those projects alone, we're looking at almost 2 million in savings from those.
Yes, I will tell you that on, in particular, Reyes Elementary School, their marquee is not working, and Dr. Rico and I have been talking about using some of that money to fix their marquee before we completely close it out.
Okay.
Once we close out and release retainage, we make sure all POs are then paid, are reconciled and paid, and then we move that money into the program contingency.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so love to see that. I just wanted to make sure I was reading that correctly.
Yes.
For the district security upgrades, do we know when the Canutillo High School Wi-Fi is going to be completed?
My construction manager is here. I know they began. Alec, do you know when is that?
For the high school, it just kicked off. So we're looking at the turnover the second, hopefully, of the intersection.
In October.
Okay, perfect. And then in regard to, I'm seeing here that the 2 million and some change was to cover things like WebEx, access control. But I did see in that bond interest breakdown that finance gave us that about 234,000 was used for WebEx. Is there a reason why bond interest was used for WebEx when we have the security monies?
Good evening, members of the board. I don't know exactly if this is the right answer. However, I do know that we had to use some funding to configure the WebEx system. There was no funding allotted to central office, right? So, however, the problem with the security systems is that everything depends on our servers and our configuration here.
Okay.
I don't know exactly, and I know Alec and I had worked on this, if this was the avenue of how that went. But I do know it was a substantial price tag to get everything configured here at Central, and there was no bond funds for central office.
For central office.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, perfect. That was that 234,000. Okay.
That's like the one correct answer I get.
Yay, good job, Dr. Rico. Thank you, David. Okay, and then I think I just have one more. Yes, so when I was looking at the map of Canutillo Middle School, as I was flipping through, I realized that in comparison to AMS, we're seeing the softball and baseball fields, but on CMS, we're not seeing that in the map. Is CMS getting baseball and softball fields as well as the football field and track?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, it's just not included in this
Correct.
map. Okay, just wanted to verify. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I was wondering about the construction timeline for Northwest Early College. I noticed that it was a few months behind the other projects, despite it not seemingly being any bigger or like more complicated than construction. So I just wanted to ask why.
So our biggest obstacle, that's a very good question. Our biggest obstacle with that getting started was completing the ground lease agreement with the community college. So it required to be signed off by both boards, went through both legal councils. So that was about a year in the making. Yeah, you're welcome.
Anybody else? Mr. Rodriguez, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mr. Presidio.
Yes.
Ernie.
Yes.
My only question is on the projects that, Reyes, that have been completed and those that even haven't been completed, what's the warranty on all those projects?
So the warranty is 1 year on the workmanship, and then some of the systems have manufacturer warranties that extend up to 5 years.
Okay. And the roofs?
20-year no dollar limit on the materials.
On the materials?
1 year on the workmanship, and then the material is guaranteed for 20 years, no dollar limit. So if there was a breach in the materials, we would hire the subcontractor to come out, or actually the manufacturer would come out, hire their own subcontractor, and if it was due to the materials, you wouldn't have any cost for 20 years.
And I know you probably can't answer this question, but I'm assuming that all our properties are insured.
That's
and
correct.
so therefore, with that warranty, if anything were to happen, it doesn't have to go through the insurance process.
No.
Because if it's within the 20 years, correct?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
And the other projects, as long as it's within the 1 year that you set,
Workmanship, yes.
Okay.
And we have made sure we started a database on all roofs for the school district so that Dr. Rico moving forward has that information should something happen to one of the roofs.
Thank you, because we don't have that currently.
Well,
So,
There's
Thank
a guy
you very
back here
much.
that went through a closet and found all of them and
Thank
put
you.
that together. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Just two questions. I think with savings in regards to each of the campuses, making sure that those campuses, if there were not alternates that were included part of the bigger project, that we try to include and fulfill those, so that way they go directly into those campuses. If not, then it could probably then roll over to some other account. I think that would probably be good. I think in regards to what you're doing at Reyes and some of the others, I know there was a wish list, and
Right.
sometimes we weren't able to reach the full wish list.
So there were additive alternates designed through the process. In a discussion with administration, we decided to draw a line and say, that's it, let's have these projects close out. Because we came to a critical point where these GCs are going to start demobilizing and moving out. But administration decided, let's draw a line, let's let them go and then realize that savings and then attack these projects at maybe a later date.
But that might cost more, so I
It
mean,
certainly
up
will.
to administration to look at.
Yeah.
But I think if they're on site, it's probably best, depending what the recommendation. But my recommendation would be to fulfill those, so that way we don't have to demobilize, mobilize, and then have an increase in cost, especially if we had costs to that with the way the economy is going and inflationary costs.
We can go back and look at what alternatives we can cover with the existing monies and then have that discussion again with the administration. sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I know it hasn't been done, but just an idea of with the architects and pretty much the process and how the story went. I know architects are really good at presentations and SOQs, but to develop the way the story, how this happened, Deanna Davenport and how the other campuses, so the community could get the story on the process, and then we could probably have a final separate of the most updated renderings, because as we know, renderings often change from what we might have.
Yes, yes.
That's it.
Anybody else? I have some comments. Cindy, do you have any? No? Mr. Ortiz, I have some comments. As you all know, my son goes to Jose Damian. We fixed that vestibule for security purposes. The air pressure in that vestibule opens the door automatically. And I just noticed that a couple of days ago. The kids going out, that closer is not strong enough to close that specific door. So it is a security breach. Will you do me a favor? It's probably a test and balance, maybe reroute some of the ductwork. And if it's happening at Jose Damian, I'm pretty sure it's happening in all the campuses because of all the pressure that's created right there on the main entrance.
Yes, on Damian in specific, we have that as a punch list item. They are going through the commissioning and test and balance right now, and we'll make sure we'll have
Please.
that addressed.
And
Yes,
Chief, I please take a look at that campus because it was the first thing I had to lock it, and I know all of us noticed that was an issue, please. And the other concern that I have is, let's see if we can push the early college. I think that's we're pushing the envelope, and I know we have 2 years, the last time we met there. See what you can do. I mean, the worst thing is hopefully they're be inclined to work on Saturday. I don't know. The reason I'm saying that is on the other projects, for example, Davenport, they're working Saturdays, okay? Canutillo Middle School, they're working Saturdays. The same thing with Alderete Middle School. So if we can do something like that, just, talk to them, see how they can help us out.
So Carla Holguin, our project manager with Presidio, she's actively working with their superintendent and project manager, Scott, with Jordan Foster, and realizing where we can capture some of that time back.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz.
Yeah.
And on another note, Dr. Borrego, I know that security is a concern, but this is a great moment where we can have our seniors that are interested in engineering, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing, structural, civil, security systems, to do a survey and see if they will be interested in walking and experiencing these buildings. A lot of us, when we graduate from high school, we don't even know what a new construction looks like, aside from building or remodeling our own home. And I think this will be a great opportunity for those seniors, with the help of Presidio, the principals, the assistant principals, to bring them through the campuses in a secure method and show them what the systems look at. Foundation is another example. It's beautiful. All the plumbing, you might say it's boring, but there's a science to it. So if you can help us out, Dr. Borrego, make it a point before we close the buildings. Right now that we just have the frame, the structure in some cases. We saw it'll be a great opportunity for us to do so.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ortiz, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
So I'd like to thank LDCM Solutions, Mr. De La Rosa, Mr. Lara. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Every time I've gone to the site, your team has been super receptive, welcoming. They've explained the process. The work that your team is doing out there is tremendous, and so I'd like to commend you publicly for, all the things you're doing for our community. I'd also like to thank Pfluger Architects. Thank you as well for taking the time to explain the different parts of the building. And so, again, tremendous job. Kudos to the team, and we're super excited for the future of Davenport Elementary.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Victor.
Item 4B, 2026 A through F District and Campus Accountability Ratings Report. Presenter, Mrs. Jessica Harrison.
Mr. Chair, before they start,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Borrego, is there a way or do you know anybody that might have come out of town or that is not an employee of the district that is a priority to move up after this item? And so just thinking about, especially when you're looking at which items we could postpone or not.
Sure, I can ask my cabinet to deliberate, and we'll get that information to you shortly.
We ready? Yes? All right. Good evening, student advisors, Board of Trustees, Dr. Borrego. I'm excited to be here tonight to present our A through F ratings. The 2026 A through F ratings were released just about a week and a half ago here in Texas. If you look at the second slide, you'll see that Canutillo ISD maintained its C rating from last year. We scored a 78 C for this year's accountability. We served 5,604 students across our 10 campuses, and 68.1% of our students were economically disadvantaged. On the next slide, you will see our historical A through F ratings for the past 5 years. As you can see, we maintained the same rating as last year. 25 and 26, we were a 78 and a C. 23 and 24, we were in the B range, and we were an A in 2022. So we have seen a decline in our ratings. On the next slide, you'll see where we rank within our peer group within Region 19. And so we are down towards the bottom. We have some work to do. We see that we are the second district from the bottom, and so we've got a lot to do for that, right? On the next slide, you will see this is our individual domain score. So when we look at the A through F accountability system, there are 3 domains. When the state evaluates us, whatever we do best is what our rating comes from. And so you can see in the orange block, that is our rating information, our score for the 2026 accountability year, and the score that is highlighted in the blue bar is our 2025 accountability. So you can see that we maintained in most areas. We dropped a percentage point or 2, but if you look at the domain 2B with our relative performance, we increased our score to an A. I'm sorry, to a B. Sorry. An 80%, or an 80 was our scale score. On the next slide, you will see our CCMR information, our CCMR scoring. So for the 2026 accountability, that is made up of our 2025 graduates. So 71% of our 2025 graduates met their CCMR. You can see in the small boxes where their different meeting that criteria fell. We had 52% of our students who met TSI college readiness in ELAR and math. You can see we had 27% of our students who earned it through dual credit. We had 25% presented very well and scoring passing AP exams. If you look below that in the orange box, 76% was our CCMR score from 2025, and that was based on our class of 2024. So CCMR is one of our lagging indicators. As you know, we did a lot of work in the spring with our class of 2026, and we will see the benefits of all that work next year when we get our 2027 accountability rating. Okay. On the next slide, you'll see this is the breakdown of Canutillo High School's CCMR for 2026, and again, this is class of 2025. The campus CCMR rate was 64%, and so 64% of our 368 graduates met their CCMR. 43% of them met it in TSI and math, 15% through AP exam success, 11% through completing dual credit coursework. We had 19% who earned an IBC, an industry-based certificate, plus they were either a completer or a concentrator in that CTE program. And we had 5% of our students that joined the military. On On the next slide, you'll see that this is Northwest Early College High School, their CCMR rate. Northwest Early College High School was at 100%, and that is in part due to the nature of their program. It is meant for students to be college ready as they begin the program, and so that's why we see that 100% there. So of their 79 seniors for the class of 2025, 98% of them met TSI reading and math. We see 68% of them saw AP exam success, 100% in their dual credit coursework, and again, that's the nature of their program. 94% of that graduating class did complete their associate degree, and then we had 32% who completed an on-ramps program, and 9% were IBCs plus concentrators or completers. And now we move on to our campus ratings. So looking at our campus ratings overall, you'll see each of our campuses is listed there. If their 2026 rating is in red, it means they went down. If they are in green, it means they saw an increase in their sales score. And if they are in red, it means they went I'm sorry, I already said that. I'm so sorry. If they're in black, that means they stayed the same. So we saw Northwest Early College and Reyes Elementary School, they were able to maintain their same performance as 2025. We saw AMS and CHS increased their performance. And then BCE, CES, DDE, GES, JDE, and CMS all dropped slightly. On the next slide, you will see the individual scorings based on the 3 domains, and it follows the same pattern. If they are in red, it means they had a drop. If they are listed in green, it was a gain, and black, they remained the same. And when we look at these domains, student achievement is based specifically on those 2026 STAR scores. So that encompasses all the students in our district who took a STAR score, took a STAR test in spring of 2026. When we look at the domain that covers academic growth, that is looking at students who took a STAR test at a lower level in 2025 and then a higher level in 2026. Okay. On the next slide, we do have some things to celebrate. So 16 distinction designations were earned across 7 of our campuses. You'll see that CES, Reyes, and AMS all earned 3 distinctions. CES earned in reading and language arts, science, and post-secondary readiness. Reyes earned distinctions in mathematics, academic growth, and closing the gaps. AMS earned distinctions in science, social studies, and post-secondary readiness. Meanwhile, BCE, DDE, and Northwest earned 2 distinctions each. BCE earned in math and post-secondary readiness, DDE in science and academic growth. Northwest earned 2 distinctions in science and post-secondary readiness, and JDE earned 1 distinction in science. So we congratulate those campuses on the distinctions that they earned. Okay. We know that we've got some areas to focus on. So on the next slide, you will see these are our 3 target strategic priorities. The first one, we are targeting key campuses, focusing on our critical improvement areas, which is CMS and GES. Elevating core academic performance through accelerating student proficiency and increasing our baseline growth in reading and math, and then strengthening the support for our subpopulations and our subgroups. So both our students who receive special education services as well as our students who are emergent bilingual. This is being done through the adoption, the readoption of TEKS-RS. We are working, we've worked really hard with master schedule adjustments, CHS return to a modified block schedule. We are looking at the work with lesson internalization, framework for planning and PLCs. We are using 2 new systems, All in Learning and NWEA MAP this year so that we get real-time data on how our students are performing, not only to ensure that what's happening at Tier 1 instruction is effective, but then also informing that Tier 2 intervention where it's needed. Dr. Kearney, would you like to add anything?
Sure. I also want to say that, well, first of all, good evening. The work that we did in 2026 for CCMR, we're looking at about a 97%, so that's going to help us increase our score for next year dramatically, so we're looking forward to that. There's probably about 30 or 40 current initiatives that we are operationalizing in order to increase our scores across campuses, including a lot of the walkthroughs that we're doing on campuses. We're at campuses every day. Even our superintendent goes with us. We're in classrooms, we're talking to students, we're looking at what's happening with the instruction. We're providing that coaching in the moment as needed. We're walking with the principals as well. We have adjusted our PLC model to ensure that we are doing the best possible first teach. Our strategies have increased. We call them the multiple response strategies to ensure that student learning is happening in all classrooms every day. There's just many things that we're doing that we believe are going to make a difference for this year. We're looking forward to an exponential increase across campuses in our scores. In particular at GES, that school, as you know, it went down to a D. It was a B. One of the things that we're looking at with that particular school, they do have a high SPED population. So we are providing a lot of support there. Through our grant, we were able to get an additional teacher to be able to unstack the class and be able to support our students a lot better. And just other moves that we have made to really support that particular school, but spending a lot of time there in order to ensure that the best possible instruction is happening. So we are on it. We're working very hard to ensure that we see those increases and gains across the district.
Any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead.
So under CMS, you have that labeled as CSI. Can you explain what that is,
Yes, ma'am.
please?
Yes.
Targeted.
So that is comprehensive
the very last
support
slide, I'm
and
sorry.
improvement, yes.
Can you say that
So
again?
CMS is under comprehensive support and improvement. And that is part of the results-driven accountability system. And so it's looking at it's their special populations and how are they performing in relation to their general education peers. And so we are targeting that campus,
They're-
like Dr.
yeah,
Kearney
they're a
said.
targeted campus.
Looking at how we can support those special education populations, ensure that instruction is effective. Also at that campus, some of the courses were unstacked so that they're able to focus more on the individual students in instruction.
Okay, good. And I do know that CMS has struggled quite a bit discipline and behaviorally as well, which we know can impact instruction and outcomes. So is that part of the targeted area that's
That's
kind of
not
being
part of
looked
the
at?
targeted
No,
area. So the
okay.
targeted area only has to do with the fact that how our special education students are performing in particular. It doesn't look at
Okay.
behavior, discipline, anything like that. But for that campus, we are focused particularly on special education. And as Ms. Harrison stated, we were able to work on stacking the classes that we had there as well in order to improve our teacher-student ratio
Okay.
for our special education students so that we can provide better instruction for those students.
Perfect. So the majority of the numbers that are hurting us at CMS are from our special populations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Of course, we're looking at all areas, so
Right.
I don't want to blame it on one particular
No, of
area,
course,
but that's
but-
one key area for the reason that they are targeted, so.
Okay. And then I do see, of course, GES is on the list, but with, in looking at drops, JDE did drop across the board as well, maybe not as significantly, except for in closing the gaps. I feel like that was a pretty significant drop. So even though they're not a targeted campus, are we targeting them in other ways, I'm assuming? Okay.
Yes, so every campus that either dropped or is a C, those campuses will be on a CAP, a corrective action plan. So they're working with their executive directors on those plans so that we are ensuring that there's growth at those campuses.
Okay,
Yeah.
that answers my question for CHS as
Yes.
well, so I
Yes,
appreciate that.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anybody else?
You know
Go ahead.
You
Go
know
ahead,
I
Ms.
do.
Voda. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I like the presentation today. I did my homework before. First and foremost, I'm very excited, and I know I beat this dead horse that we're back to TEKS. For the community that's listening on the recorded at home and the community here, TEKS, for those of you that don't know, that is like the map. I voiced my opinion very heavily without being, we had a visitor that said governance. Well, we governed and we didn't manage. TEKS is, I felt like when we got rid of TEKS, we were on an airplane without a flight plan. There was no flight plan, and we were just kind of flying around, hoping that we could land. Maybe we could. So I think that now that we're back on that, and I'm not saying that's the answer to everything, but at least there's a plan and there's directions on which way we want to go. Yes. I think that's very important. I know that we have some new principals and new schools, and it takes a while. Just like a new superintendent, it takes a while. Because what happens, the scores today are not from last semester. They're from years of building and working, and you all know that. I like that you're in the classrooms and you're seeing instruction. We've talked about that here constantly. Visiting classrooms, seeing what's happening in those classrooms, asking those questions. So I'm very happy that that's happening now. I'm also very happy, and I know there's a lot of principals here, but I love that because they are the instructional leaders on that campus, and there's a lot of training that's taking place. They're getting the training that they need. I think that's going to make a big difference. I know for a fact, for 4 years, I've been talking about CCMR for 4 years. We talked about it. We governed it. I know we did because I brought it up all the time. Now we're doing something about it, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see next year's from back there. I'm excited to see what next year's CCMR scores are going to be, and just, I want to make it very, very clear that we have to give, change is hard. Change is very hard. And we have to give these principals that are brand new principals an opportunity to move with the way that we're going. Even principals that have had a different trajectory as we've gone through this. But we need to support the principals. We need to support the superintendent. And we have to be very clear that these scores belong to the past. They have nothing to do with the new forward. How long have you been here, Dr. Borrego?
About 6 months.
So next year, they're all yours, buddy. They're all yours. No pressure or anything. And like I said, I think with a clear roadmap, we're gonna be in a better place because, like the comment that was made earlier, we've had a steady decline in the last 4 years, a steady decline. And it is our job to govern and we have to let them do their job because they're the experts. And I know that I sleep better at night knowing that we have a roadmap and we know which way we're going. And I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know anybody at the TEKS resource system. I just used it for many, many years and know how valuable it is. So thank you for all the work that you do. Principals back there, raise your hand. All the principals are back there. Thank you for all that you do because you are the instructional leaders. And there's, hang in there because I know that teachers push back a little bit because when we do what's best for kids, it means it's more work for the adults. But at the end of the day, we serve kids. That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Armando? Mr. Rodriguez?
No, I mean, we know the great work that our staff, especially our teachers in the classroom and our principals that guide that. We also know that TEA also changed the game in the middle of that to actually purposely, I think, look at this. I mean, I've worked with Commissioner Marath and what the legislator is doing, trying to privatize public ed and making us look bad, and it's obvious that their intent is bad. But we'll continue to prove them wrong. They're going to change the game again to continue to make us look bad, but our incredible staff will make sure that we rise to the occasion and support our teachers in the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Ms.
There's
Maldonado, go ahead.
a question over here.
Go.
Turn on your microphone, baby. Yeah.
I noticed that Canutillo High School wasn't identified as one of the target key campuses. What criteria was used to determine those campuses, and are there still areas at CHS that the district is focusing on improving specifically?
So when we're talking about targeted, we said that Canutillo Middle School is considered targeted, and that's for federal accountability. Okay, so that falls under that. They are still under a corrective action plan, and that's locally developed, so that's our decision to place any campus that has a C or has gone down from what they had before to a lower score. So we have placed them on a corrective action plan, okay?
Mr. President, if I may also speak.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I just noticed, and I've noticed this like at past meetings, that all the elementary schools always lag behind Reyes Elementary. And I think we can all recognize that that's because of socioeconomic like opportunity that many students at Reyes have. And I just want to ask you, as you're focusing on ratings, on numbers, that you focus on the students themselves and on their experiences and any supports that they need, because making sure that these students feel seen, that they feel supported, like they may not have the same opportunity that some students have at home, but if they can feel like they're welcomed and that they're supported at school, then that can make a big impact to these numbers and to the future people they will become. So I just want you guys to focus on that as you implement all these initiatives that I know are going to succeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Maldonado, go ahead.
Dr. Kearney, you mentioned the CMR rating right now
Yes, ma'am.
as a 94.
Probably a 97.
97. So can you give us a little bit more specifics on what you've done? And I understand that this will be for this year's graduating class, correct? So can you get us a little bit more specifics on what you've done to bring it up to the 94% or 97%?
So we focused our efforts on CHS because we already knew that it was already embedded into the program of Northwest. So we did a lot of work through college prep with CHS. They already had their work on certification. So in the previous years, I think we had outperformed the region in the double digits area with our IBCs, but we ended up losing most of our CTE department the year prior. That impacted our score. So one of the things that we did this past year was really make sure that our students that had their IBCs and needed to complete them, that they did complete them, that all of the steps that needed to be taken were taken to ensure that those students that could get an IBC did so. And then also the work with the college prep. So that was big, and so that really helped us.
So is the CTE director the one in charge of making sure that the certifications and everything, all the dots, all the T's are crossed for these IB classes, or is?
The CTE director is part of it. It's a team effort. But during that year where we were facing a lot of financial challenges, there were a lot of issues with that transition. And so that did impact us negatively. And so this past year, we worked to correct those issues, and that's why we believe we're in a better position for next year.
So the CTE director would be kind of the one that looks at all that?
Yes, ma'am,
along
part of
with
it.
the
Yes,
team,
ma'am,
like you
helping
said.
to ensure that those IBCs are completed. Those
And when
certifications.
was this done? When did you start implementing these changes?
The changes that we did.
That brought us
in
up because.
2026?
Because even then, we were
Because the year
low.
of 2025, that's when we really identified challenges. And then we realized, I think maybe last summer, that there were some issues with IBC completion. So then we did a lot of work this past year to ensure that all steps were taken, with those certifications, working with the teachers, developing systems for completion, all of that. Yes,
So
ma'am.
starting school year of 2025?
The 2025,
Summer of
2026 school
2025.
year.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
School year 2025.
And part of that work was ensuring that, and you'll probably recognize this term, but PEMS coding, right? Because that is one thing that we do depend a lot on communication from our CTE directors. And so now we have a very strong person who's heading up CTE who understands PEMS coding. And so we're already making changes to ensure that that's done correctly.
Can I just ask a quick question? When did our CTE director, when did you start, sir? February. And that's really when we
Ms. Bo-
started monitoring
Ms.
it, right?
Borrego, you're out of order.
No, well, it's on to her question, so I just wanted to clarify on that, so it's not out of order. It's based on her question.
She has the floor.
February.
Go ahead. Are you done, Ms. Maldonado?
No. February this year, correct, sir? You mentioned, Dr. Kearney, so that every campus that is in red or at a C is in a corrective plan. So, for example, if there's only one, what do you call it?
Domain?
Domain, thank you. One domain, you're still targeting it?
If they
If
haven't-
it's only one domain that dropped?
No, if they have an overall rating of a C or a D, then those are the campuses that we're focused on. We're looking at the overall rating.
So it's the overall rating?
Yes, ma'am.
Of a C or a D?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the action plan? What is the
The
corrective
corrective action
plan?
plan, so we look at each area where they either went down or we saw significant dips. We looked at how individual teachers were performing, just a variety of factors. And so the executive directors are working with those principals to develop that plan and look at their baseline and target areas for their goals. They're looking at key dates when and how this will be monitored, the action steps that will be taken, just a variety of things. So those are included in writing, and so that's developed with the campus principal. And so then we monitor throughout the year.
So you really don't have it in writing yet, is what the corrective
No,
plan is?
they're currently being written. They're
Okay.
currently being written, yes. Because we
Okay.
just got the scores a couple weeks ago, and so those are currently being written with those campus principals, through the executive directors, yes, ma'am.
And then you also mentioned the strategies, instructional strategies that are being in place or implemented this school year. You mentioned, of course, visiting the classrooms, walkthroughs. And are the walkthroughs done by, of course, the principals, the assistant principals, used to be in CNI lead teachers, which we don't have no more, but it used to be by them, yourself, Dr. Arellano. Who else?
So the CTE person, also our executive director of secondary, our executive director of elementary, our superintendent goes with us. I go. We walk with the principals. CNI also goes. So a number of us go. So like today, a group of us went. We visited Garcia, for example, Kankakee Elementary. So we do different campuses each day. And so we take the team, or we'll go individually to campuses, and so it just gives us the opportunity to work one-on-one with the principal or as a team to provide the coaching strategies that are needed.
So give me a more detailed scenario. I'm the teacher, I'm teaching. All of you walk in as a team?
Yes, ma'am.
You all walk in as a team?
Yes, ma'am.
To evaluate?
Yes, ma'am.
And so every single team member has to be very familiar with the curriculum at that grade level?
Yes, but also particular instructional strategies. So we have key look-for. So there's about, I would say about 20 to 25 different things that we're looking for, and we use a tool. We all have the tool, so we go in, and then we look for the key things. We'll talk to students. We'll ask them, hey, what are you learning? How do you know that you're learning? We look for the learning goals. We look for the success criteria. We look for different things. We look for strategies that are being utilized or not being utilized. And then if there are key things that a teacher could do, a quick, in the moment of adjustment that can be made, then the principal will whisper coach to that teacher and let them know, hey, there's, you can have the students at this point turn and talk to a partner or some other strategy. So we will apply those strategies in the moment, because learning can't wait. Students need to know right now if there's an adjustment that needs to be made. We don't try to embarrass the teacher. This is just part of our culture to provide that support right then and there. And so I believe teachers are becoming more and more comfortable with it because they see us all the time. It's not, anything unusual. So then we'll go in the hallway, we'll discuss, we'll provide additional strategies to the principal so that a conversation can be had later with the teacher as needed, or kudos, or we'll leave a note saying great job or what have you. But those are the kinds of things that we're doing on a daily basis.
Well, if I was a teacher, I would tell you that I would be intimidated when I see a group of 6 or 7 people walking in.
Maybe.
Possibly even like maybe,
Maybe,
you
but
know,
we want the
type thing.
instruction to improve, and so that's
of
how we're
course,
doing it.
of course,
Yeah.
yes. But I can also see the intimidation,
I can
especially
understand
when you interrupt my teaching.
But we don't interrupt the teaching. We don't
You
interrupt.
in the moment,
We don't interrupt.
in
No,
the
ma'am.
moment, you don't take over and teach.
No, ma'am, we
No?
don't take over and teach.
So explain in the moment, teach, please.
So it's kind of like what I said, the whisper coaching. So if we happen to see some adjustment that can be made right then and there, at that point, then we will provide a whisper coach strategy for the teacher through the principal. But do we do it every single time? No. You know, a lot of times we'll go out into the hallway and we'll let the principal know, hey, here's something that can be done. We'll ask, hey, what's the highest leverage move that can be made in this classroom that you might provide to this teacher later on? So it's not every single time, so don't think that, we go in and then we interrupt and we move the teacher to the side. That is not how it works. But if there's something that needs to be changed, we will ask for that adjustment to be made. Yes, ma'am.
And you also mentioned about the PLC model design,
Yes,
that it's
ma'am.
been changed.
Yes, so we're focused on lesson internalization to ensure that our teachers understand the standards that they're teaching. We allow the principal to provide the supports at the beginning of the week, ensuring that the TEKs are unpacked and a variety of different strategies and tools are provided to the teachers to ensure that they are prepared for their instruction throughout the week. Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
And do the teachers at the PLC at the grade level have an opportunity once the assessments, unit assessments, whatever, to be able to disaggregate that data?
Yes, to disaggregate the data? Yes,
During
they
the
can.
PLC? Do
Yes,
they
ma'am.
meet every day or for PLC, or is it once a week, twice a week?
We require that they meet at least that once a week, and then we recommend that they meet at least three additional times, and we provide structures for that, so that we are ensuring that the best instruction is happening, data analysis is happening, that they are planning for the second teach of students, because that's where we are really having challenges, is that we're seeing that they're really hadn't been planning well for second teach, so they need to think about that ahead of time. So the structures that we have set in place allow for that.
So they're basically meeting every day? It's
Not-
3 days
Not every
plus-
day, but yeah.
plus your other two, right?
They're meeting. Yes, ma'am, they're meeting. We're being a lot more intentional, because we really want to be able to sit here and be proud of the scores that we have, and we want our students to feel proud, and we want to ensure that student learning is happening. So it's more work. It's a lot on everybody. We don't intend to intimidate or make anybody feel any kind of way. We really care about what's happening in the classroom, and we want teachers to be proud. We want students to feel good about what they're doing. That's what really the spirit is in all of this. So it's not to make the teachers feel bad or pressed upon, but we have to do this work in order to ensure that we move the needle.
And then I agree with Ms. Borrego about the readoption of the TRS.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that, I had already myself vocalized that, the need of, huge mistake. In the drops, I also, I know that our curriculum, like for math, was STEM scopes, even though I believe in the STEM scopes and everything, but we used to have a scope and sequence under TRS that we followed, and it was like, this is what I need to do, this is what I have to teach. It even told me how to teach it. So, and with the scope and STEM scopes, you have it, but it's so fast-paced that if you actually looked at it, a lot of teachers weren't able to teach the whole thing by start time. So there had to be some kind of modification, or we got to do this, And as a teacher, as a veteran teacher, I know that I always did that, because if 11 of my kids weren't getting it, well, guess what? I got to reteach.
Right.
And a different way.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I just hope, because I'll be honest, in the past, for the 28 plus years, and even the 2 years at EPISD, administration treated teachers with respect, with professionalism. There was one superintendent that says, you're the teacher, you're the professional, you know what to do, you know how to do it, so do it.
Yeah.
Because the flexibility of a teacher to be able to teach this group in a certain way, but yet that group isn't getting it, then it's up to me to modify it because I know my kids. And so I don't want to see just a slate where everybody's teaching it the same way, you know? And so I really do hope that the professionalism for the teachers continues. They're it.
Yes. I
They're
agree.
it.
Yes.
They're the ones that make us look good.
Yes.
Because of what we're teaching. But at the same time, if you're preventing them from using that professionalism, then we have an issue. And then the other question that I have would be for Dr. Borrego. When you came in February, sir, what changes did you implement immediately as far as instructional? I had asked this at the review of the agenda, but I haven't received anything from you, sir.
So really, we started with identification of the instructional model was for the district. So when I asked cabinet, when I asked principals, when I asked teachers, there was no clear instructional model. So that's kind of the first step. Hey, what instructional model are we going to ascribe to? Because that's what leads you to how you're going to teach. So earlier we talked about, when we go into classrooms, we may not be experts in content areas. So for example, Dr. Rico is a science background. I think Gus is a journalism background. Dr. Kearney, English background. And so we all have varying backgrounds, but the pedagogy is the same, right? It's the delivery of instruction that we're looking at. And so we started to look at those structures. We started to see how students internalize information. So we'd ask students, hey student, tell me what you're learning today. And then we assess, does a student understand what they're learning at a conceptual level, or do they understand what they're doing at a procedural level? And so we started to introduce some of the kind of the frames for what's called John Hattie's visible learning and how students internalize information. What we're looking to do is create agentic learners. Ultimately, even at kindergarten, we're preparing little college students. And how do they do that? By being able to self-assess and move their learning forward. And you have to be very explicit and set systems, and so we started that work. Last year, when I arrived at the end of January, we started working with principals and training principals. We didn't touch teachers yet. We said, principals, this is coming. Here's the theoretical framework that we're using. Here's what it looks like in practice. And so the graduate release model is now the district's academic model. And so we say it's the I do, we do, you do. And then now we've added there's an assessment or a checks for understanding that happens in the middle of the class. And then there's what we call the second teach. That's where we get our students for second, our tier 3 tier students that need more support, that have various needs. We essentially create small groups based on data. And so a lot of those practices, there wasn't anything that was here system-wide. We spent probably the last 6 to 7 months implementing those systems, purchasing those systems to be able to track data, to progress monitor, to be able to give teachers the tools. We brought TEKS-RS back. When we talk to teachers, and my cabinet will tell you, I've always said the teacher is the master in the classroom. We have to depend on their instructional capability because they know the organic makeup of their students. And so, again, my job has been to provide those frameworks, provide those supports, uncuff teachers to be able to teach and look at TEKS. I've had teachers ask me, hey, can we use novels? I said, look, as long as we're moving based on TEKS and we're able to focus on what it is that TEK is for that day, we can get as granular as you need to because only you know the organic makeup of each class. Each class is different. Each student is different. They don't all learn the same. But we can implement things so that they can articulate what it is they're learning that specific day. So those are some of the things that we started.
So you mentioned that there was no specific instructional model, and the model that you are implementing now is, you just mentioned the name.
Sure, it's a gradual release model.
Gradual release. So what I find astonishing is that everything that you just mentioned, the I do, we do, you do, do you know what you're learning, the second teach. I just retired in 23, and I can't believe that 3 years later it's not being done because that's what I was doing. My kids even had to do it on their journals. What is the objective? What are you learning? In plain simple words, I can do this, and a checklist. Green, I got it. Yellow, I need help. Red, I need lots of help. So I can't believe that in 3 years, you're telling me that there was no such model.
So,
I don't know, things change, everything changes, but a veteran teacher knows what they need to teach.
So I
I just-
appreciate your teaching prowess, and it shows that you were a great teacher. What I can tell you, when I talk about some of the teaching frameworks and some of the things that we're doing for implementation and delivery of instruction, wasn't happening district-wide. So as a district, we didn't have a cohesive model. We couldn't speak the same language, and so we saw that it was detrimental to our students because we have transient student population. So when they move from campus to campus and we're not using the same frames, or teachers that move from campus to campus, we're not using the same frames. And so my principals, if you're here, please stand up. All right, if you weren't here last year, you can sit down. All right, give me a thumbs up if there was a district-wide kind of cohesive plan for instruction. Thank you. You may sit.
Well, I would be hesitant to answer, too. At least the truth. What I'm saying, Canutillo Elementary was
Maldonado,
AAA for so many
I don't
years,
think
you
this is
know?
the point. This is the-
So,
With all due respect.
yeah, with all due respect, the point is that I think we need to let teachers teach. Yes, help us and support us. When we had CNI directors, I needed help in science, I would go to her and say, can you please come help me? When I needed math, I would go to her. But we don't have that no more, correct? I mean, it's like we got rid of a lot of positions and it's supposed to go more to the students. So I can't wait for next year's results, to be honest. Thank
We still do provide that support, though.
Thank you, Ms. Maldonado.
I would like to say something.
Okay, I was gonna say something, but go ahead.
So, as a parent, I was looking forward to get these results. I was hoping that our schools were all doing better. You know, I was hoping CHS was going to be in the 80s and CMS was going to be close. And then when the results came out, I was sad. I was heartbroken. This is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be educating our students, and we are not up to the level that the other school districts are. Larger and smaller than us, they're doing better. We have let our students down. We're letting our parents down, and we need to support our principals. We need to support our teachers, and we need to make sure that we are educating our students because they are going to be our future, and we need to make sure that they are being taught everything they need to be taught to achieve their full potential. And if we're not, if we have a low C, we're not doing our job. So we stop pointing fingers, stop saying them, me, you, us. We need to come together and change this culture of blaming people and no, let's work together. Let's come to the table with fresh ideas and say, hey, you know what can we do as a group to make Canutillo better? That's what I would like to see.
Thank you very much. Now it's my turn. You know, I noticed that we talked about focusing on campuses that need an action plan that went from a B to a C to a D. There's 4 of us, 4 campuses. It's very unfortunate. And I was very disappointed that Gonzalo Garcia ended up the way it did. Supposed to be a pretty good campus, and we dropped 15 points. It's very unfortunate. I don't see how that happened, but it happened.
Yes.
I also saw that where my son goes to school, Jose Damian, we dropped quite a bit also. Okay? And it's very unfortunate. But Dr. Kearney, I recommend that we not only focus in those campuses, that we focus on those campuses that also have a B.
We will.
Because as you see, Deanna Davenport, where last year we were able to perform at a higher level, at an A, we dropped. We dropped 8 points. And if we're not careful, next year we might end up dropping another 5 points until we possibly move to a new campus. We can't afford for that to happen. We need to focus not only in those specific campuses, but on all of them.
We are.
On all of them. And I like to challenge the principals and for the principals to challenge their teachers to really mentor them, 100%, all the administration, to mentor them, to really get out there and help our kids. It's very disappointing when I pick up my son and I tell him, what's for homework? And there's nothing. So I have to put him to work. He's not happy because I am forcing him to do some work. But I'll tell you what, if the teacher will give him a little bit of homework, that will be a totally different story. Okay? Totally different story. They know they have to get it done. They know if they don't accomplish it by the next day, they can't compare with their peers. Okay? And that's important to each student. And I do understand every teaching method is different. I get it. But I'm looking at this, guys, and I know the state has changed the testing every single year, and we're gonna go through another change. And I know our governor is making it more difficult for us, less funding. I do understand. I know our teachers are tired. I know our principals are tired since they're there from early in the morning till late in the afternoon. But guys, we need to help our kids. As principals, I strongly recommend that you feel those shoes, and those shoes are huge right now. I want to say even Reyes Elementary School, one of our best campuses. But we got to see that climb. At least 1 point, guys. We need to see it, at least 1 point. We need to see that improvement. We've been struggling with the middle schools. We've been struggling with the high school. And I'm going to challenge the high school principal. I know we've seen some changes. Please focus. Mentor your kids, mentor your seniors, mentor your juniors, mentor those freshmen. Because they're the foundation of us being here, to be honest with you. I would like for you to really to focus on all the campuses. I would really appreciate it. I think that will go a long way. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
I have one more comment. I need to go back on a slide. Can you go back on the slides where you rank the districts? Oh, no. Wait, you already passed it.
Slide 4,
Right, oh,
AJ.
no. Is it back still, where you have the district slide 4? Because I think this is very important that people understand this. So, and I know for a fact, what we're doing in Canutillo is best practices. It's excellence by design. School districts that get great scores are doing this. I know for a fact Isleta does group walkthroughs. They do, because you got to calibrate, you've got to do it. It doesn't interrupt the teaching. Teachers get so accustomed to it that they don't even blink. I know for a fact Socorro is still doing it. I know that for a fact. Clint, ISD, one of my best friends, was the chief academic officer. I know for a fact that they are doing the same practices that we're doing. When I came to Canutillo ISD, I talked to Ms. Kearney about it. I was like, wow, we don't do this yet, or wow, we don't do this yet. I was surprised that we didn't do. These are best practices that is excellence by design. You don't just fly by the seat of your pants. And yes, I agree with you, Ms. Maldonado, and I've heard you were an incredible teacher. There are teachers that are incredible teachers that produce, and that is great, but that is not the norm. That is not the norm, and there has to be a standard. There has to be a standard. So I say kudos to what you're doing, because I can't wait to see the results next year if you continue to do what you're doing, because it's excellence by design. Excellence by design.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Borrell.
If I can add to that, so I know everybody always gives Ms. Borrego a hard time because of her time in Socorro, but I spent time in Socorro too. So exactly what she's saying, we did gradual release. That was, and at every single campus, that's what we did. So those are the best practices. Everything that you guys are implementing is going to help us. And just a word to our teachers, because I think what Ms. Maldonado is saying is valid. Of course, we haven't had this in the past. So of course it's going to be intimidating at first to see your administrators more often inside of your classroom, especially if it's a group of them. It's going to take time for you to get used to it, but you will. You have autonomy over your classroom. Do what you know best. Do what is best for your kids. And you'll eventually, like she said, not even notice that they're in there. Because I came from a little tiny district, like smaller than Canutillo in East Texas. And then I came to Socorro, okay? And so them coming into my classroom, I was like, who are all these people in these nice suits? Because that's intimidating. But you do, you get used to it. And once you get comfortable with those best practices, it just becomes second nature. And it is what's best for kids. I worked at a campus in Socorro that was struggling badly. And the 4 years that I was there, we brought that campus up substantially through those best practices. So stick with it. Stick together. That's going to be the main thing. Your culture at your campuses is going to be what carries you through. So principals, you guys set the culture at your campus for positivity and being a family. And that's what's going to get us through these changes that are really difficult for teachers and, of course, students too. They're feeling those changes as well. So let's be the change that we want to see.
Thank you. And I think they actually like us coming in. So we give them high fives. We, try to be as unintimidating as possible. So they like it. They like it. They start to, you'd be
Guys, we need to
surprised.
move on.
They
Mr.
take pride
Rodriguez?
in it.
I want to give my perspective, and I want to get a better understanding of the CCMIR, because my understanding is you all had been working on it since summer of 2025. And I'll go over a little bit of the history in regards so the community could understand. But you were working on it since summer of 2025. My understanding is not till we got the new CTE director, that's where the superintendent has brightened everything and said. So I think there's been a lot of legwork that our community has done, especially our teachers in the classroom. As we know, rule number 1 is to have the best instructional leader in the classroom, and we have so many of those in our district. So let's not forget that. The second is to have the instructional leader as a principal in that campus, and we have many of those. And so when it comes to what the state did back in 2019, when they actually passed the House Bill 3906, which was the Texas legislator, which was to redesign, didn't roll out till 2023, and we know what some of the intent is by these legislators and our governor to actually defund public education and privatize public education for vouchers and really harm public schools. That redesign later on created, in regards to the redesign and what provided. So from 2022 to 2023, you're not getting apples to apples. It's two different systems. It was a system that was not just to increase rigor, it was more to reset the performance standards and the scales in 2023, which put a lot of districts looking further underperforming than what we've done. And so in regards to not only that, the commissioner also changed the A through F accountability standards, which was a 2023 A through F refresh. And then when you look at the college and career military standards, under that refresh, the non-AEA high school CCMIR component from 88 from an A. So, I mean, that's where a lot of this stuff is coming in regards to those calculations and making our district look bad and other districts, because what we're going to do, we're going to continue. As we know, back in the days when we had a lot of English language learners, what did we do? It was professional development. I'm not an educator, but I know that we need to support the teachers in the classroom and those instructional leaders in that campus. And so we're going to get this, and we're going to get through this, and we're going to be better than we weren't. But the focus should be on the quality of the instruction and not pushing our staff to say, I need you to get from C to A. Because when we put the structures and systems in place, then we've already had them. Now it's how do we build upon those structures and systems. And so that's where I think a lot of this is going. And if we work together on building on that, instead of trying to destroy and say stuff wasn't in place, I don't think that's the right way to go. Thank you.
And if I may, if you look, no district has an A, because they told us when the A through F refresh happened that if you are an A, you'll be a B. If you're a B, you'll be a C. And that was with the change of the CCMR, making it more challenging for any district to achieve an A rating. But we're on our way. We still believe we can get there, but a lot of those changes are.
All high schools A. Tremendous
But I'm talking about for the district rating.
No, but what I'm saying is, they were killing CCMAR way before.
Yeah.
So when those calculations shift, I mean, kudos to Isleta ISD.
Yeah.
But they had it right. And we've been putting work to get there, and we're going to get there. And
Yeah.
I believe in our teachers and our staff.
I agree.
So can I add to that? So again, I agree with Trustee Rodriguez. We have some phenomenal teachers, some phenomenal leaders. I want to thank our principals for all the hard work. You know, one of the things is, you know, when you look at the way TEA assesses you, you have to understand how they assess you. We had left money on the table because we didn't have a program called on-ramps. I don't know if you guys remember when I first got here, I had asked for, I think it was like $17,000, $18,000, because you have to purchase that from Texas College Bridge, which is a TEA-approved resource. So we had kind of stayed stagnant. When you look at it, even though it had changed, it could kind of modestly kind of stayed the same. So I asked when I got here, I said, hey, are we using Texas College Bridge, TSI Prep? Do we have Texas on-ramps? What does that look like? I didn't get a response. I said, great, that's what we're gonna purchase. And so we purchased it, we gave it to our teachers, and again, they're the ones that implemented, they're the ones that helped our students. And so again, all the credit goes to our phenomenal teachers because they took the program that we were able to get. And so when you combine what were already happening with IBCs and dual credit, and then you took Texas the on-ramps and you took Texas College Bridge and you put those together, that's how we got the 97.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, may I ask a question to Dr. Borrego?
Yes, ma'am.
Back to what you were saying in response to Ms. Maldonado's question about having a district-wide model for like learning and like district-wide standards. I just have a question as to, is there going to be any tailoring to the standards depending on the campus? Because I know especially for Northwest, our ratings have been good for many years. We don't have like any problems, and I just don't see how, like, I understand like assessing, and like I know as a new superintendent you want to know that all the campuses are doing well, have your view of things, but we have been doing a really good job. And I know you've mentioned having like even at kindergarteners being college ready, but at Northwest we have college syllabus, we have college classes since the first semester students are at Northwest. So with having like all these new programs, I just wonder, like, is there going to be any tailoring, any differences between how this is adopted at Northwest, given that we've already had this exposure to college level learning objectives and classes?
So really, some of the structure is not just about being ready for college level. It's like when you're looking at a syllabus, right? You're able to navigate what that looks like because you've been trained to say, hey, these are the things that I have to do to be successful. And so, but it's also about the internalization of the curriculum, of what you're studying, right? How does that apply to your life? How does that connect to the world? When you look at your TEKS, it looks at various levels of what you're learning. It'll show you, hey, is it surface level? Does she just understand this from a procedural standpoint? Or is it a conceptual, and how does she apply, right? They look at the application of those things. And so really the structures are bare minimum. It's kind of like a uniform. If I was to tell you, hey, next year we're gonna have a uniform, this is hypothetical, so I don't end up on the news, please. If it's khaki pants and a white shirt, that's just the basic, that expectation. If a kid comes to school with khaki pants, a white shirt, a tie, and a suit top, he enhanced what we had already expected. And so essentially that's what we're asking. We're asking for a bare minimum from teachers across, right? Again, we have excellent teachers all across the district. What we're trying to do is normalize the language so it's consistent across, so that more students get the same experience that you're getting at Northwest Early College, that they get it at all levels. Because I think I heard you say earlier, you had mentioned, hey, what about the students in the poorer neighborhoods, in the poorer schools? And so essentially that's what we're trying to roll out. Everyone gets a high standard experience of education, and that's the way we're doing it. Obviously, and I say this, there's something that I tell my cabinet all the time. There is a thing as such as earned autonomy, right? How many AP courses, how many different things, what, you know, it has to be based on data. That's what I tell people, you know. People can argue with me all the time. I said, if you're gonna hate me based on data. Show me by facts where I've gone wrong, right? And so if you can't do that, you know, and I give it to teachers, said, hey, show me based on data that you can move our students to be successful and help them launch them into the next phase of their life, and I will leave you completely alone if you can do that really, really well. And so that stayed the same. It's called earned autonomy. Again, this is a very basic frame, and it's low level. And I think our teachers are, you know, doing a fantastic job. I've been, you know, to all 10 campuses, and I've seen it everywhere, and teachers are learning and they're moving, and I can almost guarantee next year we won't be a C. So you guys remember this. Thank you.
I just want to add, I appreciate, this was one of my initiatives to bring students into the boardroom so they could give us a perspective. So I really appreciate that perspective. But going back to that, I mean, we've had, based on data, that some of these campuses have extremely performed. So she's asking, do we put a blanket-wide, standards or treat everybody? No, when something's not broken, I mean, you need to help. Like, my biggest thing is, and I'm not the educator and I'm not the superintendent, but early college, high school model is working, right? So how do we infuse some of that into the high school? And that's been some of the conversation we've had, so we could have more teachers that, whether they're nationally board certified teachers or whether they're certified to teach AP classes or what's the other college? Dual credit coursework. And so you're increasing the rigor of curriculum. As we know, research shows, especially early on, if you have that level of curriculum increase and that student will, I mean, we've done that with Northwest Early College. Northwest Early College isn't like El Paso ISD's Early College or some of the other big districts. This is where you have a mix of kids. Some of them might be special ed students, some of them 504, that have been able to come to high quality standards and succeed. And so having, being able to, let's say, get ideas from Northwest to help out the high school, I think that's the conversation we need to have, instead of saying, you know what, Northwest, we're gonna add more to you because these other campuses aren't meeting to those standards. And so, and again, I'm not an educator, but we know differentiated instruction, right? Like, not every kid learns, and so not every campus is the same. I get where we need some type of structure, but for us to carte blanche the whole district, I think that's where, and to be honest, I'm extremely concerned because I've never had so many calls in regards to teachers and staff of what might be happening, and that's why I've asked for a climate survey, which was never put on this agenda item.
So, we got the request late for the climate survey, but we're willing to put it, in the emergency board meeting or the next one. I always tell people, sometimes when they don't understand.
Some of these items that were late too.
When, people have questions about why we're doing some of the things we're doing, I always point it back to data. When you look at that screen, Canutillo isn't a second to last rated district. I've seen some great people in Canutillo. I've seen some great teachers, and they deserve better, and our students deserve better. And so there has to be a change. And the mirror is always data. Data is agnostic. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care about your religious affiliation or who you voted for. It tells you the truth. It's like your blood work. And right now, when we look at data, Canutillo has had drops for the last 4 years, and we're second to last.
Guys, I know we need to move forward. I know we have a long agenda. Any more comments? No?
Item 5, Board of Trustees business. Item 5A, discussion and possible action to award request for proposal RFP 2026-046, self-funded medical pharmacy benefits management.
Through the chair, I believe this item was pulled until September.
Yes, it was.
If it's pulled and it's a consensus of the board, we could do it that way, or we could table, yeah.
That's correct.
Item 5B, discussion and possible action for approval of School Health Advisory Council, SHAC, annual report and presentation.
I also make a motion, a suggestion, based on Dr. Reyes, that this can be moved to September.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Also, do we have a parent to present?
Yes. Okay, we'll do it in November.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine? Okay.
Thank you.
Item 5C, discussion and possible action to approve change order number 1, providing an 84 days contract time extension to guaranteed maximum price, GMP, for Canutillo Elementary School, RFQ 2025-02B, project number 101-001, to Baines General Contractors, presenter Ernesto Ortiz from Presidio Group.
Through the chair,
Go ahead, Ms.
since Ms. Barnes indicated that we all got this information on the packet, so we should be well aware of what it consists, I make a motion to approve the change order Number one, providing an 84-day contract time extension to guarantee maximum price for Canutillo Elementary School, RFQ number 2025-02B, project number 101-001 to Baines General Contractors.
Thank you,
I
Ms. Maldonado.
second.
Second by Ms. Borrego. Go ahead, Adrian.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes. Item 5D, discussion and possible action to approve Canutillo ISD Police Department Reserve Program.
Through the chair again,
Yes.
I make a motion that if this is not time sensitive, that we could possibly move this item to September.
Chief, would that be okay? Are you okay with it?
Is it,
I think it's better if it's okay, if the superintendent pulls it. If not, then you could make that motion. That way we don't have to vote. That's what I would recommend. Are you okay with pulling, or is there a time sensitive?
We can pull it, chief, you have the time?
It's not time sensitive, but it's been in like the Thursday packet. And then it was also, I also explained.
I'm ready to vote on it. I read
Make
it.
a motion.
I move that we take action to approve the Canutillo ISD Police Department Reserve Program.
And I second the motion.
I have a real quick question.
Yes,
This is not going to cost the district, based on what Dr. Borrego told us at the agenda review, right? Because they're volunteer?
It does not cost, it's like a volunteer fire department. It does not cost the district anything. They
Okay.
pay for their uniforms. The only thing that they have to have is a state license, and then they can come on. Just like they're applying for a job, they would go through the same requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have one other question. Do you know how many we're considering?
I want to start small, no more than 7, 8
Okay,
for now.
thank you.
Yes.
Is there a motion? There's a motion, a second?
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 5E, discussion and possible action for approval of the 2026-2077 school year to delegate authority to the superintendent to obligate the school district to pay recapture under Chapter 47 of the Texas Education Code. Presenter, Ms. Christy Pulley.
Also move.
There is a required motion that needs to be made. It's
It's
presented
a
in.
resolution.
Yes, it's presented there on the executive summary, the board required motion.
I'll move.
Well, you have to say the resolution, right? By law.
Where is it?
Steve, do we?
So for the 2026-2027 school year, we delegate that, correct?
For
Okay.
recapture,
We
yeah.
delegated contractual authority to obligate the school district under Texas Education Code 11.1511C4 to the superintendent solely for the purpose of obligating the district under Texas Education Code 48.257 and Texas Education Code Chapter 49, subchapters A and D, and the rules adopted by the Commissioner of Education as an authorized under Texas Education Code 49.006. This included approval of the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit, the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit netting Chapter 48 funding, or the agreement for purchase of attendance credit and netting Chapter 48 funding.
There's a motion being made, a second?
I'll second. Oh, I did the first motion, right? Or she read it?
She read it, she read it, so you're
I
second.
did the first one.
No, from Ms. Barnes.
Oh, okay, I'll
You
second.
second that motion.
Okay.
Motion made by Barnes and second by Ms. Borrego.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes. Item 5F, discussion and possible action to approve contract for November 3rd, 2026 general election with the El Paso County Elections Office. Presenter, Steve Blanco.
Thank you. Steve Blanco, legal counsel for the district again. Board, good evening. President Martinez, Dr. Borrego, members of the board. You have in your packet the proposed election services contract for the November 3rd, 2026 trustee election that's going to be held here in El Paso. The total cost presented by the election department for this matter is $66,533.61. We do have contested places on the ballot so the election will go forward. And we need a motion to approve the contract on the terms that are included within the agreement.
So move.
Mr. Chair, I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
The amount that Mr. Blanco just read is different than the amount that we have in our book. Does that matter?
Unless I've got the
I have
estimate.
$68,533.61. So
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said
66.
66.
Oh, I did?
66, yeah.
Okay, then my eyes are going bad.
That's okay. I just wanted to clarify.
68,533.61.
Thank you.
Correct.
I so motion if nobody else has.
So motion. Ms.
Oh, you
Borrego
did?
motion.
I second.
Motion made by Ms. Borrego, second by Ms. Barnes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes. Item 5G, discussion and possible action to approve, ratify, commitment, and authorize payment for the 2024 bond program professional services provided to Canutillo ISD School District. Presenter Veronica Campbell and Gustavo Reveles.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, President Martinez, and Dr. Borrego. Before you, you have the information that was provided, all the backup for Deutscher. And so let me give you a little bit of background. As you can see through the agenda summary, we've provided what was done for the fiscal year 2024. This was done through an official RFP. When I came on board, I noticed that we had some questionable items that were part of the bid that were not addressed as far as the full price. And so in doing so, I had been trying to negotiate with a vendor, trying to get those items removed. And so part of this last bid, which is $5,658.20, has now pushed the total amount to $104,000. At the time, you had CH Local in place, and it was specifically stated that anything over 100K would come before the board. And so after doing these calculations and seeing all the information that's gone on, and following through the whole timeline of the events, it's necessary to bring it forward and get your approval in order to be able to issue a PO for this item for the $5,600 and issue the payment, because the vendor is already provided me all that information. And within the terms and conditions, part of this is a travel. And so the vendor has acknowledged the terms and conditions, and yes, he is correct. And so by me trying to negotiate, it was, really a hard task, because he was adamant that this was part of the award. And so before you have all the information, and I provided the work. He is still, I believe, holding on to additional work that needs to be completed. And so he will not release that until we actually issue the remaining $5,000.
Any comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't have a Deutzer rep present with us tonight, right?
No, ma'am, you do not.
Okay. So because of that, I would like to table this for the next board meeting so that we can hear from both parties, even if he comes remotely, simply because there are various scope of work changes throughout this process. I did provide the board with some emails through an open records request of something else that I was looking into that I got about this whole process, and you talked about some of those questionable practices that you saw. So based on that documentation and emails that were provided to the board, it's evident that communication was happening with this vendor and Mr. Rodriguez as board president at that time prior to the RFP going out. And then there were lots of scope changes that happened throughout this that caused the vendor to be upset that he had provided work or he had completed work that now he wasn't going to get paid for. So I gave that to the board tonight so that they had all of the same information that I do about this project, because to me, it's very questionable. As much as I want to ethically pay for what is in the contract, because one of the pages that's included in there is the part of the contract that states that we're going to pay them extra for travel, miscellaneous fees, so on and so forth. But the procurement maybe not the procurement, but the way that the contract went into place, changes that happened, and what has not been delivered, I'm worried about issuing that final payment because all we have seen basically from the work is this survey that was provided to us. And so I'm just wondering what we have paid almost $100,000 for. Well, technically over $100,000 for. So that's my concern. I personally would like to table it until we have the other party here to be able to explain what happened in that process for the community to know.
Right, and I will caution you that he may charge to be present. So I will make every effort to negotiate that and see if he can make himself available in order to, satisfy and find a resolution to this. Additionally is that the Texas Prompt Payment Act allows us to not be able to pay, but he does have a very good stance on the fact that we did issue an RFP, award an RFP to him.
Right.
And so under 2025-19 for cultural and Canotio ISD way. And so I just want you to be very aware that all efforts were made to try to, negotiate this with a vendor.
Yes,
when
and
I came on board.
I did a lot of that communication. I did supply to the rest of the board so that they could see Miss Campbell was trying to figure out what was completed, what wasn't completed, how can we make the invoices line up with the work that was completed, when did the scope change, how did the scope change, it was a very confusing process. What you have there is just the tip of the iceberg, but it is very interesting, and I am uncomfortable with approving even just the 5,000 that it is because of the idiosyncrasies that happen throughout the entire
Through the chair?
process.
Ms. Morales, go ahead.
Ms. Barnes, did you send this through email or is it just now?
So I didn't because.
Okay, so
Ms.
with that said, just.
Yes.
I'm in agreement to table it just because I haven't
Same.
read all this documentation that you have provided for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really don't know what you're referring to here. I mean, I have an idea based on what I've seen, but I am not willing to pay for this gentleman to come. If he wants to do it remotely, free, then yes. But if
ma'am.
he's going to charge to come, I say no.
I agree. Because I
hear you.
think we
Yes,
have a
ma'am.
lot of the documentation to know his side of the story, but I think it's important that they know the entire process and not just the survey that's given here.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Steve, Mr. Blanco, can we wait on this? Is it something that can, okay. And then do we need an opinion from you? Or can we hear from you maybe in the next meeting in a closed session? What our options are? I haven't read, so I'm kind of blind on this.
I haven't seen what Ms. Barnes was talking about, so yeah, I'd have to tell you next month.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't seen it either. I didn't even have time to read it right now.
From Ms. Campbell.
Yes, sir.
Basically, the difference that we're talking about is 5,658.
Yes,
which
sir.
is the traveling and
the
meals,
meals, yes,
correct?
sir.
And that is 3 trips, or how many trips?
Those were various trips, sir, and what I can do is provide you a little bit more of a detail. This is the invoice that I provided
And
you.
that, Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
that's not necessary, but I
Okay.
really appreciate if you can, next time when you can
Yes, sir.
provide us that information, please?
Yes, sir.
Through
I
the
will.
chair, I'm sorry, I think it is necessary for you to provide that for us.
Yes, I
to
do.
provide it.
Are you going to discuss it, or you?
Yes, I'm going to discuss it because I want to have a comment too. 'Cause Ms.
Hold on, you've got a motion by Ms. Barnes to table it. Is there a second to that?
Yes.
I second it.
Second that.
Okay, well, then you're either going to table it or you're going to discuss it. You have to vote on the motion to table it.
Well, you could discuss after the motion in the second.
You can't discuss the item.
So there's a motion to table this.
Yeah.
And a second.
And it was second by Ms. Maldonado.
I second.
Go ahead.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zúñiga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can I make a comment since my name was brought up?
No.
Okay. I'll just be prepared for.
Item number 5H, discussion and possible action to approve, I'm sorry. Yes, discussion and possible action to approve, ratify commitment, and authorize payment for movable signage provided to Canotillo ISD at Jose Damian Elementary campus. Presenters Veronica Campbell and Dr. Oscar Rico.
Once again, board members, President Martinez and Dr. Borrego, just to let you know, I did, additionally, I was contacted when I started back last year in July. This gentleman sent me an email telling me that he was owed for this, this sign. We did not have a PO in place, and so after doing thorough research, I did let him know that part of his agreement when he signs on as a vendor is that you do understand that the terms and conditions of being a vendor is that you will not perform any work without a PO in place. I did send a long email explaining the process and letting him know that we do not issue, we cannot provide for services where a PO, we cannot pay for services when a PO is not in place. And this is where we are today. He has, I believe, contacted various staff members needing payment, and so I went ahead and just looked at the policy, looked at statute, and realized that we should bring it forward because he legitimately did provide the services, and he is under a Region 19 contract. And now he is owed the $7,230. There is, I believe, a sign in place, and I did confirm with PIO and, of course, additional staff. And so this is where we're at. There is a sign that has been placed, and services were provided, and now we are at this point where the $7,230 are owed for this invoice.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Ms. Barnes.
So again, do we have somebody from Westside Welding present?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So part of the information also that I provided to everybody, there is communication asking who requested this sign. Because yes, we know it was definitely completed. It's been sitting outside JDE for months. But did we ever confirm who requested this sign, where that request came from?
My only information that I received was that the district requested it. That is what I've received from the vendor. But to be able to name names, no, ma'am, I do not have that information, so.
Because again, this raises procurement questions
Yes,
to
ma'am,
me.
it
We
does.
only have specific people within the district who are legally allowed to order things. Am I correct with that? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, clearly it was ordered from somewhere, or they wouldn't just have built a random sign to
Right.
give us.
And I did warn the vendor, I said, you cannot be doing services with word of mouth.
Right.
You need a PO in place. And if it were an emergency, only the superintendent under his authority has that authority to be able
Correct.
to do the services, and then you follow up with a PO because it's an emergency.
Because that would be an after the fact,
Yes,
correct?
but
And those
it's
are only
It's
emergency.
a legitimate emergency, only when it's a legitimate emergency. In this case, it was not.
not.
And so this is where we're at now.
I have a
And,
question.
Yes,
Just so I
ma'am.
understand. Does it, and this might be for Steve, isn't their vendor under Region 19, so does that break the procurement? I don't know, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't know that the procurement comes into place here, does it? I don't know enough about this. This is not my wheelhouse, but I
Yes.
sort of know.
I'll let Mr. Blanco.
I'm familiar with this one because Ms. Campbell and I spoke about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how the sign at issue came to be ordered, but it was ordered, it was worked on, it was delivered, and it was placed. The work was done. The problem is that the standard purchasing policies and practices and forms weren't completed. I can't tell you why, and I don't know who didn't do it. All we know is that they weren't done. So the vendor mistakenly, and he's at some fault for this, delivered the sign. My opinion was very basic and straightforward. The value of the sign and the value of the services that you received, you owe him for it. He received it. We've confirmed that the district asked for it, and we got it. You can't just take something and accept it and not pay for it. So my recommendation was that it be paid for. They're bringing it to you because it was unusual in the way that it was received.
Well, and my thinking was along the lines, I mean, we have, it wasn't done correctly, and yeah, it wasn't procedure or whatever, but we have the service, and, I mean, the reprimand has to be on the person, but they won't tell you who it was, right?
I don't know if
mean-
we've ever asked them.
I never asked him, ma'am. just so you'll know.
Because if it was the superintendent, if it was the superintendent, he has, I mean, it wasn't an emergency, I get it. Or
Right.
maybe for that superintendent, it was an emergency, I don't know.
And in my procurement mentality, I was just more focused on why did you do it in the first place? I'm
I get
kind
ya.
of upset with a vendor for doing it in the first place without a proper PO in place. And he also broke the terms and conditions of his registration as a registered a registered vendor. And the other thing is that, yes, although it's under a Region 19 contract, we still have to
Oh,
follow the
no,
process.
I
and
know that
issue a
part,
PO.
I get
Yes.
it. But we haven't broken any like laws. We've just broken,
No, you
well,
haven't.
yeah, sort of like that, yeah.
There's not a criminal violation or statutory
Yeah.
violation.
No.
There's
And
not
it's not the
theft,
first-
There wasn't fraud.
Nobody gave a bid to anybody before it was out, during the cone of
Yes, that's
silence
right.
or anything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
So
I
through the
mean-
chair,
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Maldonado.
I totally agree. Services have been done, didn't follow procedures. Okay. Shame on you. The reputation, if we don't pay it $7,000, is going to be, I think, it's going to hurt us more. So I totally agree with Mr. Blanco as well. So I make a motion to approve or ratify the commitment and authorize payment for movable signage provided to Canutillo ISD at Jose Damian Elementary Campus in the amount of $7,230 to Westside Welding. Thank you.
I have a comment first and foremost. There
We
is
need a
motion.
second, we need a second.
There's a second. Is there a second motion?
Is there a second?
still discuss.
Yeah, you can still
Yeah.
discuss it.
Ms. Campbell, this $7,230, it exceeds 100,000, is that correct?
No, no. No, it's
That's
just-
all there is?
No, it's all it is. All this is someone ordered the sign to be built without going
That's
through
all
the
there
purchase
is.
order process. And so Ms. Campbell is correct in saying, well, I don't have documentation to authorize this payment to you. You're saying you did the work. Well, we can see the sign. Okay, you did the work, you delivered the goods. Why didn't you secure a purchase order and sign the purchase order? Well, we didn't get one. But the sign is in Canutillo's possession.
Ms.
Mr.
Campbell,
Chair.
can you tell me where that sign is?
It's at JDE, sir.
Jose Damian?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, and Mr. Blanco, my issue with this is you're correct that it wasn't an extension, but in a way it was. We had 6 signs that were delivered that were a different size by the same exact company for the same exact purchase in an amount that $98,500, I believe, off the top of my head. So this was ordered after that
I don't
in a
recall-
different size.
If those are facts that you know that I don't know, that's fine.
Steve, we have an answer.
Yes.
It's on the executive summary as well. So if you see the executive summary, although it wasn't on the same purchase, it wasn't on the same quote, it wasn't on the same everything, it is from the same vendor, which by definition puts it over 100,000.
And it's for the same purpose.
And so that's why we're bringing it to you guys, right?
Oh,
Whether-
that's
So
like,
that
that's
is-
a whole
that to
different
me,
story
exactly,
right there.
exactly.
Okay,
It's-
ya
it's in
salió
the
el
agenda
peine,
summary.
como decía mi
Yes.
abuelita.
Yes, so I just want to make sure that everybody is clear about that. It's for the same purpose, by the same company, the same product, but a different size, ordered at different times. If they would have been ordered together, it would have been over the purchase amount that would have had to come to us for approval.
Yeah, if you have any sequential purchases that added together from the same vendor for the same purpose, if it exceeds 100,000 at the time, you had to bring it to the board.
So
That-
to me, it looks like they went around the procurement
If that's the
process.
case, then yes, it's the same issue, though. Somebody didn't follow the rules and the sign was purchased, well, it wasn't purchased, the sign was delivered and used.
Right.
Who would be,
I personally would like to table this until we know who the somebody is.
I recommend
I
that
don't
we
think
don't
that
mention the
matters.
name of the company, if you don't mind.
I'm
No,
sorry.
the name of the person that did,
Hold on, there's 2 issues here. One, I don't discount your desire to know how this happened or why it happened. But
Okay.
that's an administrative determination to be made.
Okay,
It's not the
you're right.
vendor's fault.
You're right. Yes, so that would,
If he has the power to do. If the superintendent has, if we've given him the authority and the power to do certain things, then why are you questioning it now?
because it never came to
I understand
us.
that, I understand that, but again,
Point of order,
the
guys,
thing is,
please.
the services have been done. Yes, if they try to maneuver or whatever, but it's been done, you know?
Mr. Chair, and for the record, the reason that this is a big deal to me is because if these are practices that we allow to be okay now,
Dr. Galaviz, just say it.
I'm sorry?
It's because it's Dr. Galaviz.
It was under Dr. Galavis. I wasn't making that to be a point. I'm saying if these are the
It's election
practices,
season, so make it a point.
if you have something to
point of
say, you
order,
can wait
please.
until your time to say it. The main issue here is that if these were the practices that were in place, and this is a conversation I already had with Gustavo, Enrico, and Ms. Campbell, but we need to make sure that those practices are not continuing to happen, because this is going to get us in a mess. If we are not approving, we are the fiduciaries of the district, and we're the ones held accountable for the budget of the district. And if we aren't being told how money is being spent and these types of things are happening, we're going to get ourselves in trouble. And so I just want to be extremely clear, and that's why, to me, as much as I want to pay Westside Welding for the work that they did, the procurement process that happened for it, to me, was not ethical, and that gives me pause.
And if I may, for the board, that's one of the things that we were discussing, right? So as you see, both of these purchases were made under a different purchasing agent who is no longer with the district. Not just because she's sitting next to me or her supervisor right behind me, but the level of review that we do before purchases now allows us to catch a lot of these things in the contractual agreements. I think on both ends, and I don't want to talk about the tabled one, but on this one specifically, right? There was a contract that was for a certain amount, there was a purchase that was for a certain amount, and it was more in the practice of, well, we'll just let this one slide, which I can speak for Ms. Campbell on that end, and she can speak for herself as well. That is not the practice, right? She is very thorough in her review, and we haven't had any issues.
Yeah, she's been very thorough in all of my questions and answering them, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
In regard to the comment about whether or not it was Dr. Galavis or not, I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who it was, but I think that that's important for us to know, because like you said, Ms. Maldonado, somebody needs to have a reprimand, right? Whoever it was. Of course, if it's Dr. Galavis, that's not going to happen anymore. But just so that we can move forward and make sure that we're moving forward on a clean slate, following the procurement laws that are in place.
Yes, ma'am, and I just want to make it clear for the record that it's all about transparency.
Absolutely.
And also being respectful to the process. And so at the end of the day, we have vendors that are working under this bond, and so I want to make sure that they are held to a certain level, that they are not to do any kind of work, any kind of change orders, any kind of PO change request without proper documentation.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Thank you.
Through the chair, I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Maldonado.
So you're talking about processes and ways to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
I know this is a little bit off topic, but I'm just curious as to, as a board member, I was told I could not go to you without the superintendent's approval to speak to you. So I just want to clarify that.
I didn't go to her
True.
without.
You shouldn't.
Exactly.
No, I was in a meeting with Dr. Borrego, with
Oh.
Veronica Campbell. And
But a meeting by yourself?
yes, I asked for a meeting.
3 hours.
And that can be done?
She was with Dr. Borrego.
So I can go to Dr. Borrego at any time and ask whatever?
Look,
Okay.
there
I just
are-
want clarity.
so, yeah, you're getting a little off topic, but look, I am not going to give you an opinion on whether somebody's behaving correctly as a trustee or not. That's up to you guys to decide. There are things you're supposed to get involved in and things you're not.
Exactly.
If you choose to get in things you shouldn't be involved in, that's your choice. We're not the trustee police. It's up to you guys to decide how you want to handle your business. Not up to us. You asked for information and you received it. That's fine. You guys have to decide what you want to do with it now.
But when I ask for information, it has to go through the superintendent,
It should,
correct?
yes.
Thank you.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay.
I think.
Ms.
can I?
Borrego.
Just really quickly, because I think we're way off on this. There's a saying in Spanish, I'll translate to y'all later that don't know Spanish. No hagas algo bueno que parezca malo y algo malo que parezca bueno. And those of you that know, you know. That's our conscience, you know. This was sneaky. It was. I wasn't born yesterday. It was sneaky. Okay, but it's been done. And what the question is, we need to pay the vendor because we're going to look, it's not his fault that whoever was sneaky was sneaky. So if we want to continue this, we could continue it, but we need to pay the vendor.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell, let me.
Yes, sir.
comment. Ms. Campbell, I know this has been an issue that's been in our books for quite some time,
Yes, sir.
okay? It's not right to keep the vendor pending, so holding, just waiting for that payment. So Mr. Superintendent, if something like this comes up again, bring it out in the open. If that product was delivered at the school and we used it 100%, let's move forward. Whoever is guilty, if we all made a mistake, we all make mistakes, some way or another. Put us to the test, and if we are guilty, then we'll face the rhythm, okay? We'll face the music, and so be it. But bring it immediately, because it's not right to have, Westside Welding he has a company in our community. He's one of our providers, so by all means, I'm sure he needs to pay some people, and even though it's not a lot of money, but it's a lot of money for him. Thank you.
So I believe I made a motion, correct?
To approve, yes.
To approve.
I'm the second.
Motion made by Ms.
I do have a
Maldonado.
comment, though.
Go ahead, Mr.
In regards to talking about fiduciary responsibility and the fact that you've wasted how much time on district staff to try to attack Dr. Galaviz or the bond over the years and continue, people, trying to wear your wolves in sheep's clothing is not the place to be. No, it is. It's gonna. This is what's gonna happen.
Agenda item. That's not the
Look,
agenda item.
this is the agenda item because what you're gonna see is a post by her boss.
No, that's
in the next future.
that's not.
Guys, we need to move
You
forward,
wanna
please.
guarantee it? It's true.
Let's move forward.
We have a motion in a second.
We have a motion, a second. Go for the vote.
Ms. Barnes?
No.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
No. And for the record, not because I don't want for the vendor to not get paid, I want for the vendor to get paid. But in a fair world, Dr. Galaviz should be the one paying for this sign, not the school district.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 5I, discussion and possible action to approve agreement with Geocom School Safety Indoor Mapping Solutions. Presenter, Chief Fernando Martinez.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second. I already read it. I'm good.
Can you repeat the motion and the second?
To approve.
Made by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Ms.
Me.
Borrego.
I have a question. This is the mapping for, instead of using paper map, it's going to be electronic mapping now?
Yes, ma'am.
And the cost is?
It's a 3-year plan for $60,000.
And this covers it for all the campuses?
Yes, it does, and they even threw in, with no charge, they threw in central office and facilities.
And this is coming from general funding?
No, ma'am, we're asking it to come from the bond
From the interest?
interest.
And so how are we on the wording of the bond as far as what we said we were going to be doing? We never talked about this we talked about construction, brick and mortar, we talked about security. Is this considered?
This is considered safety and security.
Okay.
Because it maps into our telephones. So we had a test done by 911 district, and they tested the mapping system. So every classroom has a panic button on their phone. So when they press the panic button, it automatically sends where that's coming from on the mapping system. On the paper, it doesn't do that. So when the officers are responding, say we have an active shooter, they can actually see where they need to pull in, where they need to go. Dispatch can update that digital mapping by calls that are coming in and saying, hey, he's moving down to class 100. They can actually see, they'll mark it as maybe like a red. That's the shooter. Green are the kids. So they can actually mark where the shooter's at. So that's why we're asking for the digital mapping, because it's much better than the paper.
So 3-year for 60,000 covers all campuses?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Northwest included?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Okay. And central office, you said?
Yes, ma'am, and facility.
And facilities.
And if I may add, this is part of the Uvalde Strong Act. It's part of the House Bill 33. So it is mandated. So it's something that is required. It's part of your budget.
And you
Yes,
said it's
ma'am.
coming from bond, is it bond interest, Dr. Rico?
That is correct.
Bond interest?
Chief, I have a question. Yes. Who's implementing, in the county of El Paso, who's implementing this program?
TEA is.
I know TEA, but anybody in the county of El Paso, any of the districts?
Which one is it?
I have the answer for that one, members of the board. So we are the lighthouse project for the 911 district. Canutillo was the first one to be in compliance with having every button on there. Right now, the ones that are looking to implement the same exact system that we're doing, but are short on funds, is El Paso ISD, which was using the same WebEx technology that we're using. Also looking to implement the same single wire technology that we're using. Us being the lighthouse approach that the 911 district has, they have been working closely with us, and this is the recommendation based on the audit that was performed.
Dr. Rico, my next question is to you. Once we purchase this program, is your system equipped and designed to handle this new program?
So let me just see that I'm understanding the question. Are you saying like in subsequent years, we are going to be doing the mapping or
No.
that we can
He's
handle
going to
it?
buy a program. I mean, obviously, it's going to go through your system.
Yes.
Are we not coming back asking for money in order to make it work?
No, as far as we understand from the 911 district,
Self-sufficient?
this is going to be incorporated by the company itself.
So once again, there's no other district in the county of El Paso that has this program, correct?
Not currently.
So we'll be the first ones. Chief Martinez, let's see if we can find, I mean, I don't mind pushing forward because it's the safety of our kids, but I don't mind if we look at possible grants out there. I know that Congressman Escobar has, been able to tell us that we can ask for some grants through her department. So let's see if we can find some money, please. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Did we go through an RFP process to find the best bid, or is this really the only company?
This is through TIPS. It's
Okay.
a co-op contract, yes, ma'am. And so I did the thorough research and making sure that everything that is being requested under this mapping system is offered. And so I provided all the backup for you. And in case we do go through federal, getting a grant and so forth, that'll also be within the federal compliance as far as the micro purchase from, it's another board item that I've placed on the agenda for tonight. And so that'll fall within that realm.
Perfect. And then just to be clear, so the 60,000 covers all 3 years. It's not 60,000 every single year.
All 3 years, yes,
Perfect.
ma'am.
And then after that 3 years, I'm assuming we would just build that into our budget for the future, Ms. Pulley? Okay. All right, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Through the chair, I make a motion to approve the agreement with Geocom School Safety Indoor Mapping Solution in the amount of $60,000 for, with,
There's a motion already.
oh,
Correct.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Sorry.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez? Yes. Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes. Item 5J, discussion and possible action for approval of agreement of Population and Survey Analyst, PASA, for 2-year demographic review and enrollment planning services. Presenter, Dr. Oscar Rico and Veronica Campbell.
Through the chair, is there any way that we can table this to till September, not next September, but to September? Is it time sensitive? Is it
Yes, so, members of the board, we have been talking to the different companies that are there. There is a sense of urgency, and if I can explain why, as you all know, our new campuses will be opening soon. We tried to secure services for more than, quotes for more than the 2 companies. There are not 3 companies that do it all inclusive, right? So we would have to piece it together, and it would be a little more costly. So the reason for the timeliness of this is we need to engage with whoever we're going to use for this, so that our goal is to have boundaries ready for registration in December. So the work will have to be done rather fast. As a matter of fact, neither of the vendors are guaranteeing December. They're pushing to January. Our only concern is pushing it a month would mean pushing pre-registration and boundaries at least till March.
Okay, Dr. Rico, this is an important thing. So the demographic, what is the cost? I
cost
think
is-
I saw it. I can't remember though.
Yes, so this is a 2-year deal, right? So it's $46,000 per year, but brings it up to, let me pull up the cost here.
Yeah,
Yes.
the demographics is very important, especially that we're opening new schools and up in Cimarron and stuff. We got to get that work, and they're going to be doing all the blueprints for that. And I think that we got to move on that. I'm going to move that we.
And it'll be $49,800 per year, $99,600 for the 2 years.
Thank you, Oscar.
I may add, add, also the pricing may change if we were to table it to September, excuse me, because the vendor only holds their pricing for 30 days, and sometimes it changes. And so this is what we have, this is the pricing
Okay.
we have now.
I move that we approve it.
I have discussion.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Maldonado, because I also have a comment.
So what is the purpose of moving the boundaries
Yes.
as to how they currently stand right now then?
Yes, and let me explain that. And also, just out of clarification purposes, I noticed that the funding is missing. This would also be bond interest. We vetted it with the bond attorney that this would be a direct bond service. The purpose, Ms. Maldonado, would be, we have an anticipated number of kids that currently are sitting in our district. However, if you see what the company would do, they would geolocate students within our district boundaries and try to forecast how many of those would come into our schools. Yeah, I know Ms. Borrego could tell you that sometimes when that's not done correctly, we open up schools that need portables day one. I know she was in Socorro when, I mean, the growth was so rapid.
Yeah.
That to not have the right forecast would throw us off. Not only that, but they would hold community input meetings, they would hold surveys, they would make sure that everybody that is
Mr. Chair?
impacted is able to have a say.
Yes, Mr.
on
Rodriguez,
this.
go ahead.
We've already done this, right, with the previous company?
We did a demographic study with the previous company, yes. We used Zonda to do a demographic study.
And did we get a quote from Zonda?
We did.
Yes.
Yes.
And what's
It's
the,
attached. sir.
It's attached, and that one, they gave us a year quote, and the year quote was for, is what, sorry? 56,000? Okay.
But who's administration recommending? The one that we're approving?
We're recommending the
Or
one
the one we're having a motion?
We're recommending Zonda, and the reason for that is the components that it's adding, right? So it's adding the geolocation, it's adding the.
Because the
community
geolocation
inputs.
is very important, especially because we've built schools. It's not necessarily, they might not even move the boundaries. What they're going to do is they're going to make sure we're balanced. It's like making sure.
I hate to interrupt, but I understand because we did it under Annette Brigham. It was a 5-year program, and they used some program to do exactly this. Okay, this area is going to have so much housing and so many kids are projected to be, and lo and behold, turns out that no kids because it was just a couple, and that's what's happening. They're just not having kids no more. But my concern is moving the boundaries of what is already existing. Those kids that already go to Garcia, that already go to Bill Childress, that already go to Canutillo Elementary. I hate to think that you're 2 blocks from the school, but the boundary has changed, so now you have to take a bus at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever time just to go to a school further down because the boundary changed. I don't want to see that.
No,
And I understand probably because we're trying to make enrollment grow with our new schools as well. I understand all that. But I don't want it to affect these kids that are already going to Bill Childress or going to Canutillo Elementary, and they're only 2-3 blocks away. It's almost like the Davenport issue. I walk to school, and yet now I'm going to have to take the bus. I don't want that to be something that we do continuously. So how is what you're doing going to affect the existing boundaries besides the new schools?
And that's a great question. We do anticipate that some of the middle school boundaries will change, not drastically. However, they will change to accommodate certain dynamics within the student population. The reason why we're recommending one over the other is two main reasons, right? KLM maps. So KLM maps are loaded into our SIS, which is Teams, so that kids can register based on their address and we don't have to do it ourselves and pay for another service. And also that this particular one has community input. For the same exact reason you were describing, Ms. Maldonado, we want to make sure that we won't be able to please everybody, but we should be able to please most, right? So that's really the approach that we want to take with this expert, to figure that it's convenient for kids, it's convenient for families, and it's also convenient for the district.
So what happens if the community is not with it, is not for it? I mean, we're paying already for him to do this study, let's just call it. If the community input is more, no, leave it as is, then do we have that right to do, or do we have to go ahead and go with what they're recommending?
So we were able to talk to some of these companies and these services, and I know Gustavo was in the conversations as well. We're going to do everything we can to value our community input, right? So that's our top priority. But it is this company's job to explain that to the community in a way which is understood. exact definition that you put on that statement, right, of what if the school is nearest to me, but I need to take a bus? We want to make sure that that doesn't happen. We want to make sure that we engage with them. At the end of the day, they work for us, right? So whatever we tell them has to happen, whatever parameters, and there'll be board input as well, whatever parameters are set as non-negotiables for us, that company will have to work around it.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Barnes.
The biggest thing that I think of in regard to the boundaries, for example, so we have Davenport that's moving from Westway into Enchanted area. So right now, all of the Enchanted area kids are zoned to go to CES. And so that wouldn't make sense for them to continue to go to CES when they have a brand new school in their neighborhood now. So I think changes like that are going to make a lot more sense for the new locations of the schools where they're at to service as neighborhood schools the way that they should.
Same with Alderete.
Correct,
And
and
it'll also,
CMS.
because a lot of those kids up there are going to Brown, which is not in our school district. So it's kind of like the geofencing type. So it is a necessity, and it doesn't just serve boundaries, but we have a decision when they do boundaries, and they have to do meetings and the whole 9 yards. But there will be some change in boundaries because Alderete is moving way up there, and Davenport is moving way this way. So what she says makes sense. So you want to have a company that scientifically does it. It's the roadmap. It's kind of like the TEEX of the TEEX resource system of getting kids in schools.
Any more comments? Go ahead.
Dr. Rico, how would the process for like the timeline for changing or like changing the zoning would work? Like if a student is like say in 3rd grade at Canutillo and they'd have to move to like Ms. Barnes was saying to Davenport, how long would that take? Would they be moving when they would be in 5th grade, or would the timing take long enough that now they'd be in middle school and they would go to Alderete?
But thank you for that question. That's the most intricate question and the most troubling of what we see with boundary changes. And let me tell you why. Historically, when we've changed boundaries, we get kids that are now in 4th and 5th grade, and now they're supposed to go to a new school. So in the past, what we've done is we've provided transportation if they want to stay at their school. We've provided ease of transfers. What you mentioned is probably the biggest issue that we're going to have with boundary changes is your 4th and 5th grade kids or your 8th grade kids. So thank you for that question, because that's what keeps us up at night with all these things. Because at one point in the past, we provided transportation. Now we know that we have a shortage of drivers. Now we know all the other issues. So I can't tell you, without honesty, like, okay, this is what we're going to do for transportation. What I can tell you is that what you're bringing up will happen. And then you'll have siblings that also get to stay on there, right? So we used to be 5th graders and had siblings in 1st grade when Reyes was opening up, or when the boundaries were moved for Jose Damian, who were still carrying as transfers because they're just used to their school. Which, I guess to answer your question with a very simplistic way of looking at it, is we're going to make sure we accommodate for those families as much as we can. But thank you for that question. It was a great question.
Dr. Rico, I have 2 comments. One of them is, as you know, this is a living document. And just because you do it 1 year doesn't mean that it's 100% proof. It changes every year. If not, changes every 6 months. And I'm glad that he's considering, this is a 2-year, you mentioned, a 2-year program, correct?
It is,
For
correct.
$46,000?
Correct.
Per year or
So that's
for 2 years?
That's for 2 years. And then President Martinez, I can tell you that we've used Templeton and we've used Sonda in the past.
Sure.
This is something that as a district, we're going to have to do every 3 to 5 years. I mean, this population is exploding so much on the Upper Valley that this is going to be something we're going to
And I tend to agree. I recommend that we don't let go, because that planning is important. It changes every year. And as we planned before, Westway was one of them, Bill Childress. We didn't see the growth that we were expecting. So that's why we build new facilities. But with that in mind, our student advisor, the one that is planning, I recommend that you get involved. This is a great opportunity for you to get involved. Fantastic. My second comment is to the board. Guys, we're adding little expenses here and there, okay? And there's gonna come a point where we need to vote for insurance and guarantee our teachers and administrators that we're gonna give them more. And once again, we're gonna be looking at our budget and we're gonna be hurting. And I don't have a problem, but just keep that in mind. This is important to us because our district is growing. We need to keep that in mind, but at the same time, a dollar here, a dollar there, eventually is going to hurt us.
Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly, but this is coming from bond interest, correct?
That's correct.
So this is not going to touch our money that is coming from general fund?
Not
So-
these 2 years.
Yes, at least not for 2 years. All right, thank you.
So there's some motion and a second. Go for the board.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
No.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
No.
Mrs. Zúñiga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And for the record, I'm just terrified of what it's going to do, exactly what she brought up, what I brought up, boundary changes, existing schools. I go here, but now my little brother, that's my reason for the vote, no.
I was just a little concerned with the process, and that's it.
Item 5K, discussion and possible action for approval of single-wire visitor-aware visitor manager and safety manager for district locations. Presenters Fernando Martinez and Veronica Campbell.
Through the chair, this is Raptor, right, to replace?
Yes, currently we have Raptor, and the Raptor is
Okay,
breaking.
so I make a motion to approve.
Me too.
I make a motion for the approval of a single wire visitor, aware visitor manager and safety manager for district locations.
I'll second.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Go,
I
Ms.
have
Barnes.
one question. Is this also coming from bond interest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. With all of these changes to bond interest, would we be able to get an update when you have that updated? Ms. Pulley, thank you.
Ms.
Thank you. Any
Barnes?
more comments? No? Go ahead, Adrian.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zúñiga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5L, discussion and possible action on the optional flexible school day program, OFSDP, application for the 2026-2027 school year and program presentation on the Opportunity Academy, TOA. Presenter, Dr. Monica Reyes.
Also move.
I second.
Oh, you can't.
She
We-
has
we
to present.
have- we
She
have to
has to
No,
present.
you
present.
could still present.
Oh,
You could just keep it short, not just.
We're just ready to approve you.
Yay.
Let's go.
But it has to be in the minutes that we do a presentation, so we'll just make it
Short and sweet.
short and sweet. We'll make it short and sweet. Thank you for that. Okay, very quickly, as you know, every year we participate and apply for the optional flexible school day program. This program is affiliated with the Opportunity Academy, which is our dropout recovery, addressing our student leavers and those students that are off cohort from graduation. And so this program will allow students to attend school in a computer-based instruction mode, and they're able to acquire attendance for us. However, we do not do the traditional ADA where when they're absent, we mark them absent. So that's what the Flex Option program does for us. As part of the requirement for TEA's waiver application, we are required to annually present to you the results and where we are with it. So at this point, as you received that PowerPoint, I don't know if you're putting that PowerPoint. Oh, thank you. As you have received the PowerPoint, basically, we are fostering to ensure that kids are able to make up those missing credits so that they can graduate from Canutillo High School, and they get to participate in the graduation ceremony. The benefits for that is it's a flexible schedule for these students. Many times, these students either drop out, are intending to leave and become a dropout, or are behind cohort because of life complications. And so this provides that flexible schedule for them to be able to come in, whether it's morning, afternoon, or all day, to be able to work on their credits. And again, it's also a small size. The ratio for the application is 1 teacher to every 28 students. As you can see in our areas of focus, we really strive to make sure that kids are focused and are acquiring their credits. In the last 4 years, we have actually more than doubled the number of courses that were completed in a year. And we're very proud to say that September 3rd, this September 3rd, we are going to have our summer graduation. After clearance, possibly 8 graduates. So of course, you all will be afforded an invitation to attend and help celebrate those 8 students as summer graduates. 3 of them are coming from the Opportunity Academy, 5 from Canutillo High School. So you can see that we did service 49 students this year. And then we also had 23 that graduated during the spring of 2026. So we're very proud of that. Do you want to sum up with your piece here?
Okay. I'm Angelina Cardiel. I'm the teacher for TOA. And
And you're very patient because you've been here all night.
She
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to add that we do have another student that actually finished last week, so we'll also be participating in the graduation. He was 2 sections short of finishing in the summer, but he came back and he finished last week, so I'm really proud of him because he did not want to, he was done a long time ago, but he came and we pushed him and he did it. So, so I'm happy to say that. But also this really, I've seen a big growth. There's a lot of growth with the students and the courses, also the changing courses. So the courses are updated through the program that the students use, so it's not an old program, it's not old,
Curriculum.
yeah, it's not old curriculum. So Edmentum is the program that they use, and it is updated, and it keeps up with the rigor of the times. So that's one thing I really want to put out there. And they have, and I keep track of all of their graduation requirements. So I make sure that they have the number of credits needed. I make sure that they have all the Texas College Board. That was a big one last year, to make sure that they do that. Any IGCs, any testing, everything. I make sure we check all the boxes so that they can graduate. So I think that's it, really. I don't know if you all have any questions for us or the program.
Go ahead. I just have a comment. I just want to say that I think that it's great that Canutillo has this program for these students. Thank you for the wonderful, beautiful work that you all do with these students and helping them graduate, and just thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
And my only question is, where is it being housed?
So, okay, so originally we were at.
And you know why I'm asking, because you're
Yes.
no longer there.
So we originally were at the Lone Star Building, and with the relocation, we were then housed at the beginning of last year with Alderete Middle School. And this year, we have now relocated to Canutillo High School. We'll be in the K Building. So the good thing about it is it's not in the main building, it's where the field house is, so the kids can park in the back and they're
And they're going to high school, which is better than
yes,
going to
and
middle
so
school.
yes, and so they're able to stay out of the main population and go do what they need to, and then leave the campus. So they are at the high school now.
And no issues with, because this isn't DAP.
No, ma'am.
It's just trying to finish my credits to graduate.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Thank you. I make a motion that we,
We already have a, we have a
Oh, I'm
motion
sorry.
and a second.
Go ahead, Ms.
I have
Martin.
one question. Is this only offered to seniors?
No, we have, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
We have students that come from the whole Canutillo area
Okay.
and community to come in. I went to Lupita's Tamales the other day, and the young lady was like, I need to finish high school. I said, well, come and
But is
finish
it-
high school.
is
And
it-
she's already like 30.
And that's awesome. I didn't, I'm sorry, I should have clarified. Is it only senior level and up, or can younger students attend as well if they're at risk of dropping out?
So what we do is we identify through our high school counselors if students are off cohort, and then depending on how far off they are, if we see that being in the traditional setting is not the place for them, then they offer the Opportunity Academy. But I will tell you, the word on the street, kids talk, and so there are some kids that go to their counselors and say, I know I can't do this here, let me go to TOA, please send me to TOA. And they like that self-paced, they like that non-traditional, they like to get in, do the down and dirty, and then get out, so that they can go and work their job, their first and second job, or help support, or help their parents with whatever their life situation is. So
Okay, so if for example, we have like sophomores or whatever that they're not gonna work in a normal environment, their parents or themselves can advocate for themselves to possibly go
possibly,
through
yes.
that. Okay.
We try to stick to juniors and seniors, and then, of course, those that have dropped out and are over age, we try to stick with those, and it's, again, the ratio is 1 to 28,
Yeah.
so it just also depends on placement.
You're limited. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. That's my only question.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. President, for the record, can we repeat the motion and the second?
Wait, the-
Armando and Ms.
It was just so moved, so the motion is to approve the, whatever the.
I'll read it, Adrian. Oh, you have to read it. He said so moved. You got it?
moved.
And
You
I
got the
second
second?
it.
Okay,
I
perfect.
second it.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zúñiga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
Item number 6, consent agenda voting.
Through the chair, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So with the consent agenda, we're looking at A, business services, B, curriculum and instruction, and C, human resources? All of that is under consent agenda, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Through the chair, I'd like to pull C1.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of C1?
Is there a motion, or you want to
Mr.
pull
Chair,
anything else? Yes,
I
ma'am.
second. I would like to pull item C2, please.
C2 is being pulled.
C1 and C2?
Anything else?
That is it for me.
That's it? So I hear a motion to approve the consent
I-
agenda?
I so move to approve the consent agenda with the exception of items
C1 is
6, C1, and 2.
I second.
motion by Ms. Barnes, second.
Ms. Barnes?
Ortega.
Yes.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zúñiga? All in favor, motion passes. Item 6C1, approval of student support stipend lead PE teacher and lead health ED teacher. Presenter, Ms. Martha Carrasco.
Hi, my name is Martha Carrasco. No, just kidding.
I know it's
Okay.
late, but trying to focus.
Tapped out.
Yes, how can I help you?
Yes.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Oh, you're presenting it? Okay. I just had what is the purpose of the lead PE teacher and lead health teacher?
So with with staff being decreased, especially student support services, we lost our coordinated school health facilitator who was designated to physical education and health education. And so I did go proposing to Human Resources Cabinet and the Academic Strategic Council, asking for some assistance. Many times when we do multiple professional development sessions during district GRIT, district PD days, I can't split myself into multiple places when I am also trying to work with registrars, attendance clerks, nurses, counselors, social workers, parent liaisons. And so this model, we already have with our counseling, this model would also help us so that I would have those liaisons to be able to have those that are experts in their area to help support them and have that liaison, that voice, and then be able to make sure that they're there to assist with the professional development. They're there to assist with representing at School Health Advisory Council or our professional development pieces. So I had proposed to have those people support physical education and health education because we do not have that person at the district level. So the other piece is they are now joining into TIA, into the teacher incentive allotment, so they can now support the teachers in that capacity to help me with overseeing FitnessGram and those things that are compliance for physical education and health education.
So you're talking about two, one for PE and one for health, or one combined? Or one that would take care of both?
It could be that. If I don't have those that are interested, it would have to be somebody who's certified PE and health, and it would be that stipend. But we are looking at having two so that I can make sure that I streamline both of those means.
And would these be current PE teachers or?
Yes,
health?
ma'am.
I mean,
They would have to be PE certified and health certified.
No, but they're currently employed as a PE coach
absolutely.
or PE right now. So
Absolutely.
you're going to be taking one of them, or are they going to continue in their role? Let's just say I'm a PE teacher at Canantillo Elementary, and I'm interested. I would have two roles. I would have my regular daily
Correct.
teaching at Canantillo Elementary as a PE coach.
That is correct.
And then on professional development days, I would be in charge of training or whatever for PE.
That is correct.
With a stipend.
Correct.
So it's almost like your mother-daughter stipend and things like that for the extra
Right.
work? But they
Right.
would continue to be a coach on their daily, day-to-day?
Yes, they
when
would
school
actually
is
be in the
session.
classroom doing what they need to do as a teacher because they have the teacher contract. But with the stipend, it would be assignment, and they would be addressing anything before school, after school, during, it's just the entire assignment for the entire year so that they be that support system and that lead where PE teachers and health teachers could then go to them and say, I need support on this. And then as a liaison to me, I would then support them through the district and the administrative piece.
And what kind of stipend are we talking about?
It's $2,500 for each.
How many professional development in a year do you have?
We have grit, and then we generally have 2 to 3 more.
And these would be only district time, right?
It would be, well, if we feel that we need to meet for like FitnessGram and we need to make sure that we're meeting compliance, I may end up having them for a PLC.
Okay.
Could do that for a PLC too.
Okay, so like when they have the extended PLC at the campuses?
They could also do the same.
But sometimes principals use the coaches as a rotation because they rotate the way it used to work, extended I don't even know if they have extended PLCs anymore. But if it was a 90-minute period, they would rotate, they would have like coaches for 90 minutes, you know, and not coaches completely. They would split up between this one and music, or this one and this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do understand.
So when they do those, though, you would be pulling them for maybe a PLC training, you would be calling it, with the lead teacher being in charge?
Not
Do you understand what I'm
necessarily.
saying?
Yes, because every campus doesn't follow that same model, so I wouldn't be able to pull them that way. So if we needed to meet as a PLC, we've built it into our teacher schedule, workday, where they could actually meet after work or after class and have a PLC if that's where we need to go. And again, they would be able to provide the agenda, the sign-in sheet, and then support with me so that we're able to support them.
So you're looking at GRIT, which is one time a year at the beginning, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're looking maybe 2 to 3 more trainings?
Correct. Like, for example, we have this Friday, August 28th. That's a professional development, and I think there's 2 in the spring.
And you said 2,500 per person?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I had.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Maldonado. Anybody else? Do I hear a motion?
I so move.
I second the motion.
Made by Ms. Barnes, second by Ms. Ortega.
Yes.
Ms. Borrego,
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 6C2, approval of revisions to local policy CQD, Technology Resources Artificial Intelligence. Presenter Martha Carrasco.
So the reason I'm pulling this, honestly, it should be really fast. So it does talk about regulations and how some of those things are going to be put into place. So I'm just asking that we be informed of those regulations once they are in place so that we know the process. It did say in my answers that those could be supplied to us possibly in a Thursday packet. So that's all I'm requesting basically on the record tonight, is that once they're in place, we know what that regulation looks like.
Yes, and I know that Mr. Solis worked on this policy. Basically, we did have that local policy in place, but I believe it was just a paragraph. So they've expanded on this as the policy. This is what we're going to turn in to TASB. And of course, the regulations are more detailed.
Yes.
So as soon as Cabinet gets them approved, we'll make sure to send you a copy.
Perfect. Thank you. That was it. Thank you.
I just want to make one comment. There was another after-the-fact purchase and thing, but I guess because it didn't have Dr. Galavisa, it wasn't a big scene. But I'm ready to vote.
What are you talking about?
If you can't read an agenda, that's not my fault.
Let's move on.
I so move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Adrian, call for the vote.
Yes.
Ms. Borrego,
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga.
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
Thank you, Board.
It's supposed to be a simple one, no? Yes.
Oh,
I'm leaving.
it's good. I already asked questions about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm leaving. No, I have to go to the airport.
Item number 7, executive session to consult with attorneys under sections 551.076 and 551.089 and 551.071. Item 7A, discussion regarding 3-year safety and security audit. Presenter, Chief Fernando Martinez. Time is 9:33 p.m. Item number 8, new business. Item 8A, discussion and possible action regarding 3-year safety and security audit. Presenter, Chief Fernando Martinez.
Mr. Chair, I so move to approve the report as it was presented in executive session.
I
Motion-
second the motion.
Motion made by Ms. Barnes, second by Ms. Ortega. Go ahead. Call for the vote.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
And for the record, Ms. Borrego and Mrs. Maldonado, they both left at 9:19 p.m. Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
That takes us to
Item number 9, meeting adjournment.